Chapter 174. The rogue cultivator saw that Wang Daoyuan easily blocked the 3 red lights and waved his sword, sending out 2 more red sword lights. The person in front of him might be a sword cultivator, so Wang Daoyuan didn't dare to underestimate him. He used 10,000 dragons emerging from the sea to split a water dragon into 3 small water dragons about 8 meters long. One of the water dragons turned into a water dragon armor to protect himself. The other 2 water dragons went to meet the 2 red sword lights. The 2 water dragons scattered the sword lights, but also lost a small part of their bodies. This rogue cultivator is at Foundation Establishment Level 3. If he was a sword cultivator, a small water dragon definitely wouldn't be able to block one of his sword lights. Since he's not a sword cultivator, Wang Daoyuan was relieved. The opponent's main cultivation is fire. Fighting him on this clear glass river is already disadvantageous to him. This rogue cultivator doesn't have much explosive power, so it's hard for him to heavily injure him, so he only needs to rely on the water dragon technique to wear him down. He injected water attribute spirit energy into the 2 broken dragons, and the 2 water dragons returned to their original state. The rogue cultivator's cultivation is 2 levels higher than him, but he couldn't gain the upper hand, so he's a bit anxious. He landed on the water, controlled his flying sword to go around the 2 water dragons, and went straight for Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan used smoke escape to hide beside the 2 water dragons. The flying sword missed its target and turned around to attack him once again. He controlled the 2 water dragons to form a 160-meter-long one, and pounced on the flying sword. The water dragon opened its mouth and swallowed the flying sword. The rogue cultivator controlled the flying sword with all his strength, trying to penetrate the water dragon and escape. Wang Daoyuan increased the input of spirit energy, controlling the water dragon to suppress the flying sword. The battle between the 2 has completely turned into a war of attrition. It depends on who has more spirit energy. Wang Daoyuan still has the water dragon armor on his body, so even if the rogue cultivator has spare energy to attack, he still has the power to fight. But without his flying sword, the rogue cultivator can be said to be completely defenseless. Then, he separated another water dragon that was about 6 meters long from the water dragon armor. The little water dragon dived into the river from under his feet and did not show itself above the water surface. The rogue cultivator had used all his spiritual energy and consciousness to control the flying sword, so he didn't notice Wang Daoyuan's little trick. 3 breaths later, a small water dragon suddenly drilled out from the river under the rogue cultivator's feet and tied him up tightly. The rogue cultivator was still unwilling to admit defeat. He divided a portion of his spiritual energy to fight against the water dragon coiling around his body, while the rest of his spiritual energy and divine sense continued to control the flying sword. When Wang Daoyuan saw that he was not convinced, he sent out another water dragon that was 20 feet long. It flew directly towards the rogue cultivator and merged with the water dragon on his body. The water dragon's power had increased, and he had to divert more of his spiritual energy to fight it. With this extra force, the power on the flying sword immediately weakened a lot, and it was instantly subdued by Wang Daoyuan. The water dragon wrapped around the flying sword and flew towards Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan took the flying sword and kept it in his storage bag. He then controlled the big water dragon to pounce on the rogue cultivator. After the rogue cultivator gave up on the flying sword, he was trying his best to break free from the 4-meter-long water dragon on his body. He would succeed in a few more breaths. But at this moment, the 16-meter-long water dragon had already flown in front of him and merged with the 4-meter-long small water dragon, quickly entangling him. At this moment, on the tall building of a shop in the old square, 3 cultivators, old, middle-aged and green, were standing at the window, watching the battle between Wang Daoyuan and the rogue cultivator from afar. The middle-aged cultivator was shocked. The Wang family's water dragon technique is so powerful. That Wang Daoyuan is only at Foundation Establishment Level 1, but he can suppress Jade Tiger who is at Foundation Establishment Level 3. The old cultivator was Yang Yong. He smiled. How is this powerful? Back then, I saw with my own eyes that Senior Wang Qingzu used the water dragon technique to condense a 1,000-meter-long giant dragon and strangled a mid-stage Aurus core cultivator of the cruel Sun Palace to death. That cultivator's Aurus core was forcefully crushed. Wang Daoyuan cultivates the 5 elements technique, not the Wang family's art of overturning sea. His water dragon technique is still lacking a bit. If Wang Shui used the water dragon technique, a 10-meter-long water dragon would be able to subdue Jade Tiger. Yang Yong said to the middle-aged cultivator, Zhicheng, go and bring Jade Tiger back. Also, invite Wang Daoyuan here. Let's hope that this failure can make Yuhu remember it well. Wang Daoyuan wanted to transform the water dragon armor on his body into a water dragon and attack his opponent again. But he heard someone shout behind him, little friend Wang, Jade Tiger is young and impetuous. After hearing the ancestor praise you, he is unconvinced and wants to spar with you. Please spare him this time. Wang Daoyuan turned around and saw that it was the Yang family's Yang Zhicheng. He cupped his hands and said, Greetings, Senior Yang. Senior, are you saying that this rogue cultivator dressed as Dao Yu is Brother Yang? He immediately recalled the water dragon and cupped his hands, Brother Yang, sorry for the offense. Then, he took out the flying sword he snatched from his storage bag and handed it back to Yang Yuhu. Yang Yuhu took the flying sword and didn't have the face to stay any longer. He turned around and flew towards the southeast on his sword. Yang Zhicheng smiled, little friend Wang, thank you for your magnanimity. My grandnephew is too useless, I hope Wang little friend doesn't blame him. I came here because the ancestor ordered me to invite little friend to the Yang family's shop for a chat. Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, since it's ancestor Yang's order, Junior will go. Senior, please lead the way. Yang Zhicheng flew in front on his sword and Wang Daoyuan followed closely behind. They arrived at the shop where the Yang family's ancestor was. Seeing Yang Yong, Wang Daoyuan bowed and said, Junior Wang Daoyuan greets ancestor Yang. Yang Yong smiled, Daoyuan, you're here. Please take a seat. When you caught the Qing River carp, I knew you weren't a fish in a pond. I didn't expect you to grow to this extent in less than 30 years. The younger generation will surpass us in time. Being able to successfully build your foundation with 5 spiritual roots, your future achievements are limitless. I see that your spiritual sense isn't weak. It won't be difficult for you to establish your Violet Palace in the future. I only have a little more than 100 years left. After I pass away, I hope you can take care of the Yang family for the sake of this old man's bloodline. Wang Daoyuan repeatedly said, Ancestor, why do you say that? You'll reach the golden core stage soon. Brothers Yuhu and Yulin have already passed the foundation establishment stage. It won't be difficult for them to establish their Violet Palace. Yang Yong said with gratification, Yulin can indeed be entrusted to you, but he's still too young. Although Yuhu's talent is good, he's impulsive. I just praised you and he wasn't convinced and challenged you to a duel. He's not cut out for great things. Yang Yulin continued from the side. Fourth brother heard some rumors and thought that the Wang family wanted to go against the Yang family. Ancestor praised you again. He was angry and challenged you to a duel. Please don't take offense. After hearing this, Wang Daoyuan immediately understood that the Yang family wanted to test his attitude. He immediately cupped his hands and said, so brother Yuhu was angry about the Wang family doing business with the Heian County. Originally, the patriarch wanted to personally explain this matter. Since I'm here, I'll talk about this matter. The patriarch and I felt that since the Iron Screen Mountain had been cut through, the waterway had been opened. No matter what, there would be people using the waterway to do business. Instead of letting the Liang family take the initiative, why don't we make the first move and gain the upper hand? This matter was pulled by the Meng family. I thought that ancestor allowed it. Why? Didn't the Meng family inform the Yang family beforehand? Since Meng Changfeng was courting death, they could just push the blame to the Meng family. Would the Yang family call Meng Changfeng over and confront him in court? Chapter 175. The Yang family was a dignified Zifu family. No matter how unhappy they were, they would not go to the extent of openly making things difficult for a family like the Meng family. It was naturally impossible to confront them in court. Hearing Wang Daoyuan's evasive words, Yang Yulin continued, "This Meng family is really too incompetent. Since the waterway is already open, doing business with Heian County is imperative. The Yang family won't have any objections. Just give my Yang family a heads up, and ancestor won't disagree." Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, "This Daoyu Meng is indeed not too knowledgeable about the ways of the world. Seeing that the three families have supported each other for hundreds of years, I hope that ancestor won't take offense. Since my Wang family harmed the Yang family's interests without knowing, we can't not express anything. Ancestor should also know that my Wang family has been breeding spirit-forbidding silkworms in recent years, and it's already on a small scale. In a few years, we can sell silk. Therefore, the patriarch and I think that the silk we produce will first satisfy the Yang family's needs as much as possible." The Yang family trio sucked in a cold breath. The Wang family breeding silkworms was not considered a secret. With the jade dragon spring, planting mulberries and raising silkworms was too suitable. The Wang family's finances had changed greatly these few years. It would be strange if they did not think of ways to raise silkworms. It was just that they did not expect that the Wang family was actually raising spirit-forbidding silkworms. Ordinary Tier 1 mid-grade silk was only 20 to 30 spirit stones per catty. It was not considered much. It could barely support a foundation establishment family. But spirit-forbidding silkworm silk cost a few hundred spirit stones per catty. It was still priceless. After all, there were too few families like the Wang family, sitting on a high-grade Tier 3 spirit vein and a huge spirit spring. It was also difficult to find spirit-forbidding silkworms with similar conditions. Yang Yong thought to himself, with the Wang family's conditions, breeding spirit-forbidding silkworms can completely support a golden core family. Unless the Yang family starts an all-out war with the Wang family now, otherwise, it's impossible to suppress the Wang family. Fortunately, the Yang family can buy spirit-forbidding silkworm silk first and also obtain considerable benefits. Looks like the Wang family still sincerely wants to ally with the Yang family and has no intention of suppressing the Yang family. What he did not know was that the Wang family really looked down on the position of Clear Glass River's northern overlord. The Wang family's goal was to develop in the direction of the Heaven/Mountain Range, then think of a way to develop east of the Heaven/Mountain Range. Now that he had the Five Elements Mystery Realm, he had a way out. The next step was to open up a secret passage between the Jade Spring Peak and the Five Elements Mystery Realm, and move some of the clansmen there. After this step was completed, the next step was to set up the Linhai Prefecture. They had to jump out of the broken boat of the underworld sect as soon as possible. Why were they competing with the Yang family? After a long while, Yang Yong finally reacted and gave Yang Yulin a look. Yang Yulin immediately asked, "Cousin, are you serious?" Wang Daoyuan replied with a smile, "Of course it's true. My Wang clan is not proficient in the art of refining. Even if we arrange for our clansmen to practice it now, without any inheritance, it would be difficult for them to achieve anything great in a few hundred years. The Wang clan had no use for the god-restricting silkworm silk, so they could only think of ways to sell it. The Wang family has been taken care of by the Yang family for more than 300 years. Naturally, they should return the favor and give this great profit to the Yang family." Yang Yong stroked his beard and laughed, saying, "Sure, for hundreds of years, the two families have intermarried for generations and are already as close as one family. There was bound to be someone doing business in Heian County. It was better for the Wang clan to do it than for the Liang clan to take the initiative. There is no distinction between our two clans. If the Wang clan makes a profit, the Yang clan makes a profit." Wang Daoyuan and the three Yang clan members exchanged greetings for a long time before bidding farewell and leaving. After Wang Daoyuan left, Yang Yong let out a sigh and said, "The Wang family really has such strong destiny. They actually found the god-restricting silkworm. Fortunately, our relationship with the Wang clan is not bad and we can get a share of the profits. With Wang Shi's talent and the wealth provided by the god-restricting silkworm, the Wang clan has a greater chance of becoming a golden core clan. Our Yang clan also has a chance to soar. I have fought with that old fogey Liang for my entire life and only managed to gain the upper hand with the help of the Red Beard bandits. It seems that if we want to completely suppress the Liang clan, we still need to borrow the Wang clan's hand. In the future, you have to build a good relationship with the Wang clan. With your own strength, you can at most have my current achievements. If we can borrow the rise of the Wang clan, our Yang clan might be able to produce a golden core in the future. Yang Jicheng and Yang Yulin both nodded in agreement. Wang Daoyuan left the Yang clan and rushed back to Jade Spring Peak on his sword to report the Yang clan's attitude to the 12th uncle. However, after returning to Jade Spring Peak, he didn't see the 12th uncle. After asking, he found out that a rank 2 monster beast had appeared in the area of Mirror Iron Mountain. The clansman guarding Mirror Iron Mountain reported to the 12th uncle that the 12th uncle had already gone to check on the situation. As soon as he heard that a rank 2 monster beast had appeared, Wang Daoyuan immediately became interested. When he sparred with Yang Yuhu before, he didn't dare to use his full strength in public and only used the water dragon technique to contend with him. It wasn't fun at all. Now that a rank 2 monster beast had appeared, he could use it to practice. He wasn't worried that the rank 2 monster beast would be very strong. Otherwise, the 12th uncle wouldn't have gone alone. The clan's affairs were managed by the various elders and the disciplinary hall's affairs were handled by the stewards. There was no need for a foundation establishment cultivator to take action. He directly rode on Yunyi Tiger and left Jade Spring Peak, flying towards Mirror Iron Mountain in the southeast direction. Before he reached Mirror Iron Mountain, he saw the 12th uncle patrolling in the sky on his sword from afar. Wang Daoyuan urged Yunyi Tiger forward and asked, 12th uncle, what kind of rank 2 monster beast has come? Wang Shui shook his head and said, I haven't seen it before. It's just that this beast has been moving around in the vicinity, leaving some traces and releasing the aura of a rank 2 monster beast. However, it hasn't attacked Mirror Iron Mountain, causing everyone to be anxious. Wang Daoyuan released the golden-winged goshawk and said, the golden-winged goshawk has good eyesight. Let it search for a while, maybe it'll find something. Oh right, during this trip to River Yang County, we sold 2 ships of goods for 3 times the price and brought back 2 ships of spirit beast meat. In the future, the clan can do a business of spirit beast meat again and the drunken immortal restaurant won't have to worry about lacking ingredients. There are still many important matters in the clan waiting for you to deal with. Why don't I stay here and keep an eye on things while you go back first to deal with official business? Wang Shui glanced at him and said, don't even think about it. It wasn't easy for me to make a trip out, and you want me to go back? No way. Besides, with your set of reforms, the daily affairs will be handled well by the various elders. What official business do you need me to deal with? If there's really something that can't be dealt with, don't you still have the 2 grand elders? Stop talking nonsense, let's drink first and wait for your golden-winged goshawk to find the monster beast. After dealing with the monster beast, we'll return to Jade Spring Peak. After saying that, the 2 sat on Yunyi's back. Wang Shui took out 2 wine jars from his storage bag and threw one to Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan was a little surprised and asked, 12th uncle, what's wrong with you today? You're not freeloading my wine, but actually treating me to wine? Wang Shui smiled and said, you're thinking too much. This is my improved scarlet blood wine. It's not bad for me to drink it, and there's no one else in the clan who knows how to taste wine. Help me taste this wine. Wang Daoyuan took the wine jar, opened it and drank a mouthful. He carefully tasted it and said, there's no problem with the taste, and there's no problem with the aroma. Compared to the original recipe, there's more blood worry and muscle-growing grass. The healing effect of this wine is not weak, but didn't you originally want to add the jade butterfly orchid? Wang Shui said self-deprecatingly, I was thinking too much. The jade butterfly orchid and the scarlet blood wine are like fire and water. After adding the jade butterfly orchid to the scarlet blood wine, the wine's aroma is not bad, but it's hard to drink. No matter how I adjusted the recipe, it was useless, so I simply gave up. The scarlet blood wine itself has some healing effect, and it's very compatible with the blood worry and muscle-growing grass. Therefore, this scarlet blood wine was created. As for the jade butterfly orchid, let's talk about it later. This is the wine recipe, brew more, and I'll freeload your wine in the future. After saying that, he handed a piece of paper to Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan directly stored the wine recipe into the spiritual pearl space. At this time, the golden-winged goshawk let out a sharp cry, which meant that it had found traces of the monster beast. Chapter 176. Wang Daoyuan immediately ordered Yun Yi to move closer to Golden Wing. Both of them put away the wine jars and took out their magic weapons, preparing to fight the beasts. Soon, Yun Yi flew to the place where Golden Wing was. Golden Wing was circling around a small forest in the sky. It didn't dare to lower its altitude and was constantly screaming. Looking carefully, a few of the golden sword feathers on Golden Wing's wings were missing. It must have been attacked and the feathers were knocked off. Golden Wing kept circling around the small forest. The beasts that attacked it should be hiding in this small forest. Wang Shui used his divine sense to scan the small forest, but he didn't find any traces of the beasts. Wang Daoyuan realized that this was probably a beast with the ability to avoid divine sense. He used the heaven-peering technique and scanned with his divine sense, but he still found nothing. Helpless, he could only ask Golden Wing about the exact location of the beasts. In the end, Golden Wing replied that it couldn't find any traces of the beasts. Wang Daoyuan asked it about the beasts, and Golden Wing used its divine sense to transmit the information about the beasts. According to Golden Wing, this beast should be a cat. Its entire body was pitch black and it was hiding in the bushes. Golden Wing's eagle eyes could track a sparrow dozens of miles away, but it couldn't see the cat in advance. When it flew past the small forest, a black cat suddenly pounced down from the tree. Fortunately, it reacted quickly and adjusted its flying direction in time to avoid the fatal blow. However, a few of its sword feathers were still caught. Without the sword feathers of Golden Wing, its flying speed and flexibility were greatly reduced. Once it was attacked again, there was no hope of escaping. Therefore, it only dared to hover in the sky. Wang Daoyuan directly recalled Golden Wing and put it back into the space of the spiritual pearl. Wang Shui condensed a water dragon that was nearly 300 feet long, then turned into more than 10 small water dragons that were more than 3 feet long and rushed into the small forest. The water dragon searched every tree in the small forest. After 2 hours, there were only a few trees left in the small forest that had not been searched. Wang Daoyuan was constantly monitoring the forest with his divine sense. Once Black Cat made a big move, it would immediately be discovered. But since they didn't give themselves away, they had either left the forest or were on the remaining trees. Wang Daoyuan used the earth armor technique and added 2 layers of medium-grade tier 2 earth armor talismans on himself before approaching the last few trees. The water dragons surrounded the last few trees. Suddenly, a cat's angry cry was heard, and a small water dragon was directly killed. Wang Daoyuan looked over and saw a cat about 3 feet long jumping around on a tree branch, dodging the water dragon's attack. The cat appeared and disappeared in his divine sense. He ordered his doppelganger to check the 10,000 Spirits book and found out that this cat was called a phantom cat, a ranked 2 mid-tier demonic beast. The phantom cat's innate spell was concealment. When it used its innate spell, as long as it didn't make any big movements, opponents of the same level wouldn't be able to discover it. The phantom cat's attack power was not strong. It mainly relied on its ability to hide and ambush small demonic beasts to survive. The phantom cat was extremely cowardly. Normally, it wouldn't dare to exchange blows with opponents of the same level. It would usually hide and launch sneak attacks. If it missed, it would immediately run away. Moreover, this thing lived in the dark jungle. Although the vicinity of the Mirror Iron Mountain could be considered lush with vegetation, it was far from being called a jungle. The phantom cat was not suitable for such an environment. It shouldn't have come near the Mirror Iron Mountain. However, now was not the time to think about this. It was better to deal with this phantom cat first. He took out the 5-dragon soul-chasing whip and lashed it out. The phantom cat was still more than 200 feet away from him. The tip of the whip definitely couldn't hit it. However, the force from the whip didn't care about this distance. The phantom cat's reaction was extremely fast. It sensed the force and immediately jumped to a nearby tree. The tree it was originally on took a solid hit from the whip and directly broke from the spot where the force hit. Even though the phantom cat managed to dodge the attack, it was still shocked by it. Although the water dragon technique was powerful, it wasn't difficult for it to dodge the attack with its agility. This whip was extremely fast and powerful. It was completely possible that it would take its life. It didn't dare to be entangled anymore and directly jumped down from the tree. After landing, it fled in the direction of the sky/mountain range without looking back. The phantom cat was known for its speed. It would be a bit difficult for Wang Daoyuan to chase it down. If it was lured into the territory of other rank 2 demonic beasts, a fierce battle would be unavoidable. Fortunately, the phantom cat wasn't the type to hold grudges. After being beaten, it would do its best to avoid it in the future. In the future, it probably wouldn't come to the Mirror Iron Mountain area to cause trouble. Wang Shui withdrew the water dragon and said with a smile, "Daoyuan, you're quite strong now. You scared this black cat away with one whip. If I'm not wrong, your whip should be Zhao Baogua's, right?" Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, "This whip was snatched from Zhao Baogua when I killed him. It's a mid-grade rank 2 magic tool. Those below the Foundation Establishment realm can't unleash the true power of this whip. However, now isn't the time to think about this." The black cat that was beaten away just now was called the Phantom Cat. This thing likes dark and dense forest environments. It usually lives in the sky/mountain range and won't leave the forest easily. This phantom cat actually ran outside the range of the sky/mountain range. This matter is unusual. You also know that the demonic beasts that should appear in the depths of the sky/mountain range appeared outside the periphery. This might be the precursor of a beast tide. This demonic beast might have just come here by accident, or it might have escaped because demonic beasts gathered in large numbers inside the sky/mountain range and it had no place to stay. Now, it's been more than 300 years since the last beast tide in the sky/mountain range. No one can say when the next beast tide will occur. If there really is a beast tide, we have to act as soon as possible. Right now, Jade Spring Peak doesn't have the myriad water origin formation protecting it. Once a beast tide occurs, it's hard to say if our Wang family can survive. I'll continue to investigate nearby. If there's a situation, I'll report it to the family. 12th Uncle, hurry back and make preparations at Jade Spring Peak. If there really is a beast tide, we'll be caught unprepared. In history, the longest interval between beast tides in the sky/mountain range was 700 to 800 years, and the shortest interval was only 300 years. Although the scale of the last beast tide was very large and the demonic beast's losses were not small, the interval between the next beast tide and the next beast tide would be relatively long. However, no one dared to say whether it would happen in advance or not. Hearing this, Wang Shui's expression became serious. He said, "Since that's the case, I'll go back and make preparations as soon as possible. You have to be careful here. If there really is a beast tide, don't worry too much. If you lose your property, you can earn it back. Protecting your own life is the most important." After saying that, he flew towards Jade Spring Peak on his sword. After Wang Shui left, Wang Daoyuan released more than 1,000 soul-chasing bees. Ever since the space in the Spirit Pearl had been upgraded, the area of the Spirit Field had increased. The soul-chasing bees' honey source had also become richer, and it could accommodate more soul-chasing bees. Currently, there were more than 6,000 soul-chasing bees in the space, and the number was still increasing. Chapter 177. Through the Wasp King, Wang Daoyuan ordered the soul-chasing wasp to explore the sky/mountain range, paying special attention to the distribution of rank 2 demonic beasts. In a beast tide, rank 1 demonic beasts were only cannon fodder, while rank 2 demonic beasts were the main force. He had been in the sky/mountain range for more than 10 years, so he had a certain understanding of the distribution of rank 2 demonic beasts nearby. If a beast tide was about to happen and the demonic beasts gathered, rank 2 demonic beasts would definitely participate. The number of rank 2 demonic beasts at the edge of the sky/mountain range would obviously be less than normal. If there were no obvious abnormalities in the number of rank 2 demonic beasts, it meant that there would not be a beast tide, at least not a large-scale one. After 4 hours, the soul-chasing wasp returned after going 2,000 kilometers into the sky/mountain range. Not only did the rank 2 demonic beasts in this area not decrease, but a few wandering rank 2 demonic beasts appeared instead. They would not stay in a fixed area, but would constantly wander around, and some would even clash with the native demonic beasts. This situation was not like the gathering of demonic beasts before a beast tide. It was a bit like a huge change had occurred in the depths of the sky/mountain range. Perhaps there was a battle between high-level demonic beasts, or a natural disaster, causing some demonic beasts to be forced to flee their homes. Even if it was not a beast tide, these wandering rank 2 demonic beasts were still a great threat to the Wang family's safety. Although they did not have the strength to destroy the Wang family, they still had the ability to destroy the Wang family's businesses. According to the soul-chasing wasp's investigation, these homeless rank 2 demonic beasts were not wandering around aimlessly. Their movement had a certain pattern, and their direction of movement was roughly from the southeast to the northwest. Wang Daoyuan released the soul-chasing wasp again to investigate in the southeast direction. 16 hours later, the soul-chasing wasp returned. This time, the soul-chasing wasp directly flew over the 100 Rivers Lake and explored in the southeast direction. There was no obvious change in the number of native demonic beasts in the southeast direction of the 100 Rivers Lake. However, the number of homeless demonic beasts was clearly much more than the north bank of the clear stream. These demonic beasts were constantly moving from the southeast to the northwest. However, with the 100 Rivers Lake in the way, it was difficult for the demonic beasts to continue moving northwest when they reached the south bank of the Rivers Lake. Only an extremely small number of demonic beasts continued to move north along the east bank of the 100 Rivers Lake. The demonic beasts that came from outside the Qingxi area had used this route to come here. Most of the demonic beasts were gathered at the southern shore of the 100 Rivers Lake. There were already several hundred of them, and the number was still increasing. Now, they could basically confirm that something major had happened far to the southeast of the 100 River Lake, causing a large number of second-rank demonic beasts to run around in disorder. An unforeseen event that could scare away so many rank 2 demonic beasts was not something the Wang clan could handle. These demonic beasts would not stay where they were, nor would they obediently disperse. With such a large number of rank 2 demonic beasts and some rank 1 and rank 2 native demonic beasts on the way, it could be considered a small beast tide. A large group of demonic beasts gathered together without a high-level demonic beast to lead them. In a short period of time, they would not have a common goal. However, when demonic beasts gathered together, it was inevitable that conflicts would occur. When the demonic beasts fought with each other, the strongest one would eventually become the temporary Beast King. At that time, under the leadership of the Beast King, the beast horde would advance rapidly in one direction, and the beast tide would be completely formed. Fortunately, the beast horde was gathered at the southern shore of the 100 Rivers Lake. With the 100 Rivers Lake in the way, they were unable to advance towards the northwest. They could only choose to advance towards the west or the southwest. If the beast horde advanced towards the west, they would enter the Clear Glass Prefecture at around 6,000 li south of the Clear Glass Marketplace. That would be the central region of the Clear Glass Prefecture. In the north of the Clear Glass Prefecture, there was the Clear Glass Marketplace. In the south, where the Clear Glass River and the Thousand Rivers intersected, there was the Thousand Rivers Marketplace. These two large marketplaces had Zifu disciples of the underworld sect stationed there. The Thousand Rivers Marketplace had more than one Zifu disciple stationed there. However, in the central region of the Clear Glass Prefecture, there were no large marketplaces, nor were there any underworld sect stationed there. When this beast horde entered the central region of the Clear Glass Prefecture, it was possible that they would annihilate many clans. Since the unforeseen event had occurred in the southeast, the southern region of the Clear Glass Prefecture would most likely be affected as well. However, without the gathering effect of the Hundred Rivers Lake, there should not be a beast tide in the south. In the entire Clear Glass Prefecture, the area that would be least affected would be the northern region. After the beast horde entered the Clear Glass Prefecture, they would either continue to gather towards the west or scatter in all directions. At most, they would have some effect on the Clear Glass Marketplace. With the Clear Glass Marketplace as a barrier, the beast tide would not directly affect the Wang clan's territory. However, it was unavoidable for some beast horde to enter. He sent the information he had discovered back to the Jade Spring Peak. The clan leader and the various elders all let out a sigh of relief. As long as it was not a large-scale beast tide, it was fine. Although the invasion of a few rank 2 demonic beasts was not a small threat, it would not damage the foundation of the Wang clan. The clan leader also reported the news of their territory being attacked by demonic beasts to Yang Yong, reminding him to make early preparations. After all, before the Wang clan jumped out of the broken ship that was the underworld sect, they still had to rely on the Yang clan to shield them from the wind and rain. Yang Yong was currently guarding the Clear Glass Marketplace. If a beast tide occurred and he was not prepared, he would inevitably be punished by the underworld sect. If he was removed from his post and the underworld sect sent an unfamiliar Zifu disciple to take over, it would only be bad for the Wang clan and not good for them. If Yang Yong was able to know about the beast tide in advance and make sufficient preparations to avoid losses, it would be a great merit. He had just been promoted, so it was impossible for him to be promoted again. However, if he were to make a great contribution, his position would be even more stable. Yang Yong was still the Wang clan's backer in the underworld sect. Only when the backer's position was stable could the Wang clan have a better life. After Yang Yong learned of the strange movements of the demonic beasts, he did not dare to be negligent. He immediately activated the spies that the underworld sect had placed in the Green Willow State to investigate if there were any strange movements of the demonic beasts. Then, he headed north of Qingli County, to see if any of the clans near the periphery of the sky/mountain range had discovered anything strange. Soon, some families sent back news that they had been harassed by unknown rank 2 demonic beasts, and some of them had even suffered casualties. The spies of the Green Willow continent also sent news that a group of demonic beasts had gathered in the south of the Hundred Rivers Lake. Yang Yong knew that the situation was serious. He immediately reported the matter to the sect to inform the various parts of Qingli County to make preparations. After all, Yang Yong only had the authority to govern the families in the northern part of Qingli County. He didn't have any contact with the families in the central and southern regions, so he couldn't quickly report the news. When the Netherworld sect learned that there was going to be a small beast tide, they reacted very quickly. He immediately sent several Zifu elders and 50 Foundation establishment cultivators over. They boarded a flying warship and headed towards the center of Clearglass County. He also issued a conscription order for all the families in Clearglass County to send out Foundation establishment cultivators to defend against the beast tide. The Wang clan was naturally on the list of conscriptions. However, because of their contribution in reporting the news, the Yang clan took care of them and only conscripted one Foundation establishment cultivator. Before the beast tide attacked, they would make preparations beforehand. The effect was much better than making preparations after the beast tide attacked. At least they could set up formations in advance and rely on the mountain protecting formation of the various families to deal with the demonic beasts. The number of Foundation establishment cultivators that needed to be conscripted was much lesser. If the beast tide entered Clearglass County and caused a large number of casualties, the underworld sect would then make preparations. The 4 foundation establishment cultivators of the Wang clan would probably all be conscripted. At that time, without the foundation establishment cultivators to guard, if there were any rank 2 demonic beasts that escaped, they would definitely destroy many of their businesses. Their clansmen would also suffer heavy casualties. Chapter 178. After ascertaining the situation, Wang Daoyuan had a rough idea of what to do. After patrolling along the border of the sky/mountain range for a few days, he killed 2 second-rank inferior-grade demonic beasts that broke into the Wang clan's territory. Wang Shi sent him a letter every day, reporting the situation outside. After learning that the Netherworld sect had issued a conscription order, he immediately returned to the Jade Spring Peak. Before he reached the foundation establishment stage, he often found trouble with the Dark Cloud Wolves in the Green Willow province. The cooperation of the Dark Cloud Wolves was much better than a temporary gathering of demonic beasts. No one knew how to deal with demonic beasts better than Wang Daoyuan. If the Wang clan wanted to send out a foundation establishment cultivator, he was naturally the most suitable. After returning to the Jade Spring Peak and arriving at the meeting hall, he heard the clan leader and the elders discussing who to send to resist the beast tide. Wang Shi said, "Granduncle is already old, 5th uncle is in seclusion, and Daoyuan just reached the foundation establishment stage not long ago. I'm more suitable." Wang Daoyuan walked into the meeting hall and said, "12th uncle, let me go. No one has more experience than me in dealing with demonic beasts. I could chase after the Dark Cloud Wolf King when I was at the peak of chi refinement. Now, I can easily destroy the entire pack. Can you deal with a second-rank inferior-grade Dark Cloud Wolf King now?" After reaching the foundation establishment stage, Wang Daoyuan could already unleash 60 to 70% of the Soul Extinguishing Bell's power. If he fully activated the Soul Extinguishing Bell, no first-rank demonic beasts could survive within 100 feet. Within 100 feet, second-rank inferior-grade demonic beasts could only breathe, and second-rank middle-rank demonic beasts would also be severely injured. Wang Shi smiled bitterly. "It's really a bit difficult. With my current strength, I have no problem fighting the Dark Cloud Wolf King. If I encounter a wolf pack, I'll be exhausted to death." Wang Daoyuan smiled. "The easiest way to resist a beast tide is to fight a war of attrition. I cultivate a full attribute cultivation technique of the 5 elements. In terms of attrition, even a heavenly spirit root can't compare to me. I have a large number of second-rank talismans with me, so I'm least afraid of a war of attrition. Besides, I'm not the only one resisting the beast tide. The Netherworld sect and the other clans have all sent out foundation establishment cultivators. This beast stampede doesn't have much to do with our Wang clan. I'm not a rash person, so there's no need for me to fight head-on." Also, many people knew that the 12th uncle was the hope of the Wang family's rise. There weren't many families that wished for the Wang family to rise again. Even the Yang family wasn't willing to see the Wang family return to the glory of their ancestor. If the 12th uncle went out, he might be schemed against. And the fact that I have penta spiritual roots is not a secret. It's not worth it to spend such a huge price to scheme against me. 9th great uncle said worriedly, "After all, you've just built your foundation not long ago. I'm afraid it'll be a bit difficult for you to deal with a second-rank demonic beast, right?" Wang Daoyuan waved his hand and said, "9th great uncle, you don't need to worry. A few days ago, I was intercepted by the Yang family's Yang Yuhu and had a spar. Yang Yuhu's cultivation was at the 3rd level of foundation establishment. I defeated him with only the water dragon art. The water dragon technique could only be considered the weakest of my trump cards. In a life and death situation, I couldn't care less if it was a trump card or not. If I used all my means, it would be difficult to kill a 4th or 5th level foundation establishment cultivator, but the chances of defeating him were still very high. Demonic beasts can't be compared to cultivators. Their means are too simple. An ordinary rank 2 demonic beast strength is far inferior to that of a rank 1 cultivator. A mid-rank rank 2 demonic beast can't threaten my little life. Hearing him say this, all the elders were very shocked. Wang Shui, on the other hand, wasn't too surprised. When dealing with the phantom cat that day, the power of Wang Daoyuan's casual whip could scare away a rank 2 demonic beast. Wang Shui also had some guesses about his strength. Wang Shui sighed and said, Daoyuan's fighting strength is indeed above mine. Forget it, I can't win against you, so I'll let you go. However, you can't go without any preparations. Before you reach Foundation establishment, there are some things that you can't use. This time, when you go to resist the beast's stampede, you might encounter any danger. If you don't bring something to defend yourself, the elders and I won't be at ease. Go find the 2 grand elders and have them prepare some good things for you. Wang Daoyuan left the assembly hall and came to the hidden scriptures tower. He said to Tai Gong, I'm going to respond to the call to resist the beast stampede. The 12th uncle told me to find you and 5th granduncle to get some life-saving things. Tai Gong didn't say anything. He got up and went into the ancestral shrine. After half a cup of tea's time, he came out with 3 jade boxes. Wang Daoyuan took the jade boxes. When he wanted to open them, he found that there was a layer of restriction on the jade boxes. This restriction not only had the function of preventing the jade boxes from being opened by force, but it also seemed to have the function of suppressing the contents of the boxes. He curiously asked, Tai Gong, what kind of treasure is this? Tai Gong took one of the jade boxes and said, remember the method I used to open the jade boxes. These things have been here for hundreds of years. They can't be exposed outside for a long time. Usually, they have to be sealed in jade boxes. After saying that, he poured the power of his spiritual sense and spiritual power into the jade boxes, making them follow a specific path. After a few breaths of time, the restriction on the jade boxes closed. The jade boxes opened, revealing the contents of the boxes. Inside the boxes was a blue pearl about the size of a grape. The pearl was filled with blue water spiritual power. However, this water spiritual power was very tyrannical, as if it could explode at any time. If this pearl were to explode, Wang Daoyuan knew that he definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it. Tai Gong quickly closed the boxes. Following the path he used to open the boxes, he circulated his spiritual power and spiritual sense in the opposite direction. The restrictions on the boxes opened again. Wang Daoyuan took one of the boxes. According to Tai Gong's demonstration method, he used it once and successfully opened the box. Tai Gong smiled and said, this pearl is called the Gui Water Lightning Pearl. It was left behind by the old ancestor. A bolt of Gui Water Lightning is sealed inside. Once it explodes, it's enough to kill a peak Foundation establishment cultivator and heavily injure an early Zifu realm cultivator. This was something the old ancestor exchanged with the Zhao clan in the past. He exchanged for quite a few and used quite a lot these years. You should use these 3 Gui Water Lightning Pearls sparingly. There aren't many left in the clan. If you encounter an enemy you can't beat, throw it at them. This pearl will explode upon contact. You can also inject a strand of spiritual sense in advance and use it to detonate it. Its destructive range is 200 feet. When you use it, be careful not to injure yourself. Gui Water Lightning and Lightning Pearls. Although Wang Daoyuan has never seen them, he has heard of them. Gui Water Lightning is one of the 5 elements lightning. It was the ultimate technique of the Zhao clan. Only Foundation establishment cultivators and above can use it. Most of the water attribute techniques don't have much power. If you want to kill, you can only rely on a huge amount of water spiritual power. The Wang clan's water dragon technique walks on this path. Gui Water Lightning is an exception. It consumes about the same amount of spiritual power as other techniques of the same level, but its destructive power surpasses most lightning attribute techniques. The Zhao clan relied on Gui Water Lightning to dominate the country of Zhao for nearly 10,000 years. If not for the fact that the Zhao clan's experts suffered too many casualties in resisting the beast tide, the 3 major sects would just be delivering food to them. The Gui water lightning pearls in his hands can only kill peak foundation establishment cultivators. This means that the Zhao clan's people who made these lightning pearls are only at the late foundation establishment stage. The method of making lightning pearls is very similar to primitive spiritual talismans. In the beginning, spiritual talismans are all made by casting techniques and then using things to seal them up. This method of making spiritual talismans is too simple and crude. Not to mention the high requirements for the materials used, the spiritual talismans will often self-detonate. Later, there was an expert in spiritual talismans who created runes based on the techniques. As long as the runes are drawn and injected with spiritual power and spiritual sense, the spiritual talismans made can display the effects of the original technique. This is how the spiritual talismans came to be. However, the 5 elements lightning is very special and no replacement runes have been developed. Therefore, the most primitive method of making lightning pearls is still used. If there is no restriction on the jade box to suppress it, it might self-detonate at any time. Chapter 179. Wang Daoyuan took the Gui water thunder pearl, bid farewell to Tai Gong, and returned to the meeting hall. Seeing him return, Wang Shi asked, "How many did you get?" Wang Daoyuan answered, "Tai Gong gave me 3. Wang Shi gave him a token, saying, "This is the Netherworld sex recruitment order. Be careful when using the things the Grand Elder gave you. This thing has never been given to Qi refinement cultivators because they can't run away from it. After using it, run as fast as you can, don't throw your life away." Wang Daoyuan laughed, "Don't worry, my cloud mist escape can move me nearly 400 feet in one breath, this thing can't hurt me." In the central part of Qingli County, there are also many rivers, staying alive is no problem. 12th uncle, I'll leave the golden wings to you, let him patrol the eastern border. These few days, there are 2 second-rank low-grade demonic beasts roaming over. Without the golden wings on guard, foundation establishment cultivators can't keep an eye on them. Finished speaking, he took the golden wings out of the space, and gave them to Wang Shui. Leaving the golden wings behind, he bid farewell to the clan leader and the elders, and rushed to Qingli Market on his sword. In the northern part of Qingli County, those who accepted the recruitment gathered at the Netherworld Sex Qingli Market headquarters. Outside the gate, Wang Daoyuan flashed the recruitment order, and a servant girl immediately brought him to the meeting hall. At this time, there were already more than 20 foundation establishment cultivators in the meeting hall. Seeing Wang Daoyuan come in alone, everyone in the hall was a little surprised. A young foundation establishment cultivator from the Liang clan snorted, saying, "As long as there are more than 2 foundation establishment cultivators in the other clans, there will be more than 1, why is your Wang clan special?" This foundation establishment cultivator from the Liang clan was at the 4th level of foundation establishment. Wang Daoyuan really didn't know him. This level of speech was much better than the Liang clan in the past, hinting to the other clans that the Yang clan opened the back door for the Wang clan. This caused the other clans to be dissatisfied with the Wang and Yang clans. Wang Daoyuan sneered, saying, "This Liang Daoyu, how did you know I only came alone?" According to the rules, a rank 2 demonic beast participating in the battle was also counted as a foundation establishment cultivator, right? Why don't I call Yun Yi out and have a chat with you? The foundation building cultivator from Liang clan didn't dare to say anything else. Although Yun Yi's cultivation level wasn't high, her size and aura were there. Once they were called out, everyone was so frightened that they lost their composure. The Liang family was the one that was hated the most. The head of the Yang family, Yang Ziyuan, had also arrived at the venue. He replied, "It's all thanks to little friend Wang that we were able to discover the beast tide in advance." Wang family's Jing Iron Mountain was harassed by a rank 2 demonic beast. Wang's little friend went to chase it away and recognized that the demonic beast was a phantom cat. The phantom cat usually lived in the dense forest in the depths of the heaven/mountain range. Suddenly running out of the heaven/mountain range could be a sign of a beast tide. After the Wang clan reported this matter to the underworld sect, they discovered that there were already hundreds of rank 2 demonic beasts gathered in the southern part of the 100 Rivers Lake. If it wasn't for Wang's little friend's meticulousness, the underworld sect wouldn't have known about this until the beast tide invaded Qingli County. At that time, it wouldn't be a matter of a few foundation establishment cultivators appearing in each family. I'm afraid that the families in the southern part of Qingli City wouldn't even be able to protect their foundations. As soon as these words were spoken, most of the foundation establishment cultivators cast grateful gazes towards Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan also expressed his gratitude towards Yang Ziyuan. After 4 hours, all the recruits had arrived. Ancestor Yang also arrived at the conference hall. Yang Yong opened his mouth and said, "Everyone knows about the beast tide. According to the information we've gathered, the beast tide's most likely attack direction is along the southern shore of the Hundred Rivers Lake, all the way to the west. Then, the first to encounter the beast tide will be the Qin family of Yellowstone Peak. Now, I order all the recruited cultivators to hurry to Yellowstone Peak. After arriving at Yellowstone Peak, you will temporarily be under the command of Yang Ziyuan. When the Purple Mansion Elder of the Underworld Sect arrives, you will listen to the arrangements of the Underworld Sect Elder." Everyone agreed in unison. Yang Yong left the conference hall. At this time, he absolutely didn't dare to leave Qingli City. Otherwise, once the demonic beasts sneaked in and caused huge losses, his position as a guardian elder would come to an end. This time, a total of 42 foundation establishment cultivators were recruited. Yang Yong also sent out 10 foundation establishment cultivators from the Underworld sect to guard Qingli City. 52 people and 1 tiger flew towards Yellowstone Peak in the southeast direction. This tiger was naturally Yun-Yi. Wang Daoyuan didn't ride on his sword. Instead, he directly rode Yun-Yi and hurried on. After the beast tide arrived, it was inevitable that he would have to fight side by side with other cultivators. He called Yun-Yi out to familiarize himself with the other cultivators and avoid accidental injuries. Because they were facing a beast tide, it was very dangerous. Therefore, the cultivators who responded to the call weren't low in cultivation. Apart from Wang Daoyuan, there were no early-stage foundation establishment cultivators. Their cultivation was high, and their sword-riding speed was also very fast. Their speed exceeded 1,500 kilometers per hour. About 10 hours later, everyone arrived at Yellowstone Peak. The Qin family of Yellowstone Peak was also not a weak family. They had a total of 3 foundation establishment cultivators. The family head, Qin Yuansheng, was at the 7th stage foundation establishment realm. The other 2 foundation establishment cultivators were also at the mid-stage foundation establishment realm. He had already received a notice from the Underworld sect that a beast tide was about to arrive. Yellowstone Peak was the first target of the beast tide. Qin Yuansheng was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. The Qin family had no way of resisting hundreds of second-stage demonic beasts. Seeing so many people coming to support him, he felt a little more confident and personally came out of the mountain to welcome them. He invited a group of foundation establishment cultivators to go up the mountain as a host. However, the people who came to support obviously weren't in the mood. Qin Yuansheng could only take out a map of his territory and discuss how to defend with the cultivators who came to support him. The Qin family had a total of 4 mountain peaks with spirit veins. Among them, the main vein, Yellowstone Peak, had a high-grade second-stage spirit vein. The mountain protecting array was also a high-grade second-stage earth array. This array didn't have much lethality. Its only advantage was that it was resistant to beatings. It was very suitable to resist this beast tide. Among the 4 spirit mountains of the Qin family, the easternmost one was called Emerald Feather Peak. There was a high-grade first-stage spirit vein on it. Emerald Feather Peak was very close to the border of the Heavenly/Mountain Range. It was only about 200 kilometers away and more than 500 kilometers from Yellowstone Peak. Obviously, Emerald Feather Peak couldn't be defended. Yellowstone Peak was the focus of the defense this time. Emerald Feather Peak was too far away and the two couldn't coordinate. The spirit vein's grade was also low and couldn't support a second-stage defensive array. If they sent people to guard Emerald Feather Peak, they would be cannon fodder. Once the beast tide arrived, they could only delay for a while. The cultivators stationed there definitely wouldn't have a chance of survival. The Qin family also knew that Emerald Feather Peak couldn't be defended and had already moved the cultivators stationed there and the surrounding ordinary clansmen away. The other two spirit mountains were easier to defend. These two spirit mountains were Crouching Tiger Mountain and Jade Bamboo Peak. Crouching Tiger Mountain was about 150 kilometers southwest of Yellowstone Peak. There was a low-grade second-stage spirit vein on the mountain. Jade Bamboo Peak was about 150 kilometers northwest of Yellowstone Peak. There was a mid-grade second-stage spirit vein on the mountain. These three spirit mountains were roughly arranged in the shape of a triangle. They all had second-stage spirit veins and could support a second-stage defensive array. The three spirit mountains weren't far from each other and it was very convenient to support each other. The clans in the central part of Qingli County also sent 35 foundation establishment cultivators one after another to support them. At this moment, there were a total of 90 foundation establishment cultivators and a tiger guarding the mountain. Among the three spirit mountains, Yellowstone Peak was the most important and at the forefront. Naturally, it should be heavily defended. The final arrangement was that the old family clans would send 20 people to defend Crouching Tiger Mountain and the foreign family clans would send 20 people to defend Jade Bamboo Peak. Putting the cultivators of the same camp together could also prevent internal friction. The remaining 50 people would stay behind to defend Yellowstone Peak, ready to support the other two peaks at any time. When allocating the personnel, Yang Jiaxing wanted to leave Wang Daoyuan and the Yang family cultivators at Yellowstone Peak. However, the Liang family disagreed. After a battle of words, 3 people from the Liang family were sent to Jade Bamboo Peak. Wang Daoyuan and Yang Jiqing of the Yang family were sent to Crouching Tiger Mountain. Chapter 180. As a member of the Yang family, Yang Jiqing naturally became the leader of the defense of Crouching Tiger Mountain. Wang Daoyuan and the rest followed Yang Jiqing to Crouching Tiger Mountain. The mountain peak was shaped like a crouching tiger staring at the foot of the mountain, hence the name of Crouching Tiger Mountain. The south, west, and north sides of the mountain were steep. Only the east side was a gentle slope. The spirit vein of Crouching Tiger Mountain was a metal-type spirit vein. Metal-type spirit chi was most suitable for attack. There was only one upper-grade rank 1 defensive formation on the mountain. This formation was usually enough to defend against demonic beast harassment. At this time, it was far from enough to defend against beast hordes. Yang Yong was already prepared. When everyone set off from Clear Glass City, he gave Yang Ziyuan several sets of formations. The formation that Yang Jiqing brought to Crouching Tiger Mountain was called the Gold Demon Soul Severing Formation. This was an upper-grade rank 2 offensive formation. A person would sit at the core of the formation and control the formation to attack enemies. The attacking method was a second-grade metal-type spell. After these metal-type spells were strengthened by the formation, they carried a murderous aura. After injuring the enemy, it would corrode the wound and affect the mind. The spirit vein of Crouching Tiger Mountain was only a lower-grade rank 2. It was somewhat insufficient to activate a upper-grade rank 2 formation. However, formations set up with formation discs all had an energy storage function. It could store spirit chi when not in use. In addition, Yang Ziyuan also brought hundreds of mid-grade spirit stones. Once the spirit chi stored in the formation disc was insufficient, mid-grade spirit stones could be used to replenish it. Yang Ziyuan took out more than 20 formation discs. As long as they were placed in a certain order and filled with spirit stones, people who did not understand formations could easily set them up. However, it was very difficult to borrow the power of the spirit vein. It needed to draw out the spirit chi in the spirit vein and gather it into the formation disc. However, among the 10 underworld sect cultivators that Yang Yong sent, there was one who understood formations. At this time, this formation master also came to Crouching Tiger Mountain to help set up the formation. Connecting the formation disc to the spirit vein was a very troublesome matter. It would take several days to complete. However, there was no need to rush. According to the information that came back, the demonic beast horde on the south shore of 100 Rivers had just started fighting. After the victor was decided, it would take at least 10 days to half a month to set up the formation. 2 days later, 3 flying warships, 1 big and 2 small, arrived from the northwest and landed on the Yellowstone Peak. It was more than 200 zhang long and 7 to 8 zhang wide. The captain was about 10 zhang tall and 3 zhang wide. The 3 flying warships landed on Yellowstone Peak. Not long after, 2 smaller warships left Yellowstone Peak and flew towards the south. The remaining large warship stopped at Yellowstone Peak for a while, then flew towards Jade Bamboo Peak in the northwest direction and stopped there for a while. Finally, they arrived at Crouching Tiger Mountain. 50 Peak Chi refinement cultivators and 1 Foundation establishment cultivator walked down from the warship. The Foundation establishment cultivator cupped his fists at Yang Zhiqing and said, "Dao Yu Yang, there are also groups of beasts gathering at Wanchuan Market. There are even third-order demonic beasts participating. We have to hurry over to provide support. We can only leave behind these 50 Qi refinement cultivators to help." With that, he instructed the 50 Qi refinement cultivators to obey Yang Ziyuan's orders. Then, they left on a large warship. Yang Ziyuan looked at the 50 Qi refinement cultivators and asked, "What are you good at?" An old Qi refinement cultivator stood up and answered, "Senior, we specialize in controlling the demon extermination crossbow. Everyone has one." The demon extermination crossbow was the huge ballista that shone in the Battle of Guiyan Valley. Using middle-grade spirit stones, it could cause a fatal threat to second-order demonic beasts. It was perfect for dealing with beast herds. Yang Ziyuan smiled and said, "Then you can choose the location to set up the demon extermination crossbows. If it works well, I will report to Elder Yang and ask for credit for you." The old cultivator waved his hand and the Qi refinement cultivators dispersed to find suitable locations to set up the crossbows. In the end, 20 crossbows were set up on the east side of Crouching Tiger Mountain and 10 on the other 3 sides. 3 days later, the array formation was set up. Yang Ziyuan tried to control the array formation and there was no problem at all. The array formation master of the Netherworld sect also returned to Yellowstone Peak. In the next few days, Wang Daoyuan rode Yunyi every day to patrol the situation of the demonic beasts and report to Yang Zhiqing. 10 days later, he rode Yunyi to Emerald Feather Peak. The demonic beast horde had already crossed the border of the Heavenly/Mountain Range and entered Qingli County. Moreover, the size of the beast horde had already exceeded 1,000. He immediately ordered Yunyi to fly towards Crouching Tiger Mountain at full speed. Fortunately, this beast horde was blocked by the 100 Rivers Lake and was forced to form. The 100 Rivers Lake could only block terrestrial demonic beasts and not demonic birds. Therefore, there were no demonic birds in the beast horde, so it was much easier for the Foundation establishment cultivators to deal with the beast horde. After returning to Crouching Tiger Mountain, he reported the situation to Yang Zhiqing. Half a day later, the beast horde appeared more than 300 kilometers away. Everyone stood on the high mountain and looked at the huge beast horde in the distance. They could still see it clearly. The demonic beasts did not split up and directly charged towards Yellowstone Peak. An hour later, the beast horde arrived at Yellowstone Peak and surrounded it. The thick earth formation on Yellowstone Peak had also been activated, and the entire mountain peak was suffused with an earthy yellow light. It was too far away, so Wang Daoyuan could not see clearly how the cultivators on Yellowstone Peak dealt with the demonic beasts. He only saw the demonic beasts charging a few times and being beaten down. The demonic beast horde no longer attacked Yellowstone Peak. They split into 2 small groups and rushed towards the southwest and northwest respectively. The small group of demonic beasts that rushed towards the northwest was heading towards Crouching Tiger Mountain. 15 minutes later, the small group of demonic beasts arrived at the foot of Crouching Tiger Mountain. There were more than 200 demonic beasts in this small group. When they reached the foot of the mountain, the demonic beasts did not surround the entire mountain. Instead, they began to charge up from the gentle slope east of Crouching Tiger Mountain. The Gold Fiend's soul-severing formation on Crouching Tiger Mountain had already been activated, but it did not reveal a defensive light barrier. However, there was always a feeling of murderous intent in the formation. The area covered by the Gold Fiend's soul-severing formation was not large. It only covered the top of the mountain that was 1,000 feet tall. The demonic beasts quickly rushed halfway up the mountain. They were only about a mile away from the top of the mountain. They had already entered the killing range of the demon extermination crossbows. However, the crossbows did not attack. Before long, the demonic beasts entered the range of the Gold Fiend's soul-severing formation. Yang Jiqing shouted, "Flying swords!" 19 flying swords charged towards the demonic beast horde. Wang Daoyuan also used the flat wave sword. However, the power of the flat wave sword was too weak. He aimed at an inferior grade class 2 leopard and slashed at it. The leopard dodged. The flat wave sword struck a middle grade class 2 wild boar beside it and only managed to sever a few strands of its mane. A few cultivators at the side even let out disdainful chuckles. It was truly embarrassing. He retracted his flying swords and waited for the demonic beasts to get closer before whipping them with the 5-dragon soul-chasing whip. At that moment, without Yang Jiqing's command, the 20 demon extermination crossbows on the east side of the mountain fired in unison. 20 beams of light pierced through the demonic beast horde. Unfortunately, the demonic beasts reacted too quickly and most of them dodged the attack. Only 7 demonic beasts that were slower were killed and more than 10 were injured. After firing in unison, the demon extermination crossbows needed 3 breaths of time to replace their middle-grade spirit stones. The demonic beasts took the opportunity to rush up rapidly. The leopard that dodged the flat wave sword earlier was the most energetic. It relied on its agility to dodge the attacks of the flying sword several times in a row and rushed to less than 500 feet away from the top of the mountain. Wang Daoyuan had already put away the flat wave sword and held the 5-dragon soul-chasing whip in his hand. As soon as the leopard entered the range of 500 feet, he lashed out with the whip and aimed at the leopard's head. The leopard dodged hurriedly and barely dodged the attack. Before it landed on the ground, the force of the second whip had already landed on its body. The leopard died on the spot. Seeing Wang Daoyuan finish off a demonic beast of the same level so cleanly, the expression of the cultivator who mocked him earlier changed. Chapter 181. Wang Daoyuan could not be bothered to stoop to their level. Defeating the demon beasts was his priority. 2 breaths later, the demon annihilation crossbows were reloaded with spirit stones and fired once more. This time, the distance was closer and the demon beasts found it harder to dodge. In an instant, more than 10 demon beasts were killed and more than 20 were injured. Under the suppression of the demon annihilation crossbows and flying swords, the charging momentum of the demon beasts slowed down instantly. This beast stampede was a last-minute idea to begin with. Without a grade 3 demon beast to command and a last-minute beast king, it was not enough to make all the demon beasts listen obediently. They only had the thought of coming out to fight for a place to stay and did not want to risk their lives. In the face of a threat to their lives, most of the demon beasts did not want to risk their lives and charged forward. They merely moved forward slowly from the back. Those with long-range dermic spells released a few of them towards the mountain peak. However, there were many rocks on the mountain peak and the attacks of the demon beasts did not have much effect on the cultivators as long as they found a random spot to hide. A few demon beasts that relied on their agility to jump up and down were targeted by everyone's flying swords and died one after another. However, be it humans or demon beasts, there was no lack of hotheads. A grade 2 middle grade wild boar relied on its thick skin to charge forward with all its might. The wild boar even channeled its spirit energy to block the attacks of the flying swords. A few flying swords only left a bloody mark on its body. The wild boar's spirit energy was khaki and its innate dermic spell was to strengthen its defense. This should be the earth armor boar. Boar demon beasts had strong bodies to begin with. Coupled with its innate dermic spell, it was difficult for cultivators of the same level to cause fatal damage to it. If this thing charged forward, the Foundation Establishment cultivators would not be afraid, but the Qi Refinement cultivators controlling the Demon Annihilation crossbows would be in danger. If the 20 Demon Annihilation crossbows were destroyed and the demon beasts charged forward en masse, the cultivators could only rely on the protection of the formation to fight against the demon beasts that were 10 times their number. Yang Jiqing sent a voice transmission to everyone. You must protect the Demon Annihilation crossbows. Otherwise, I'll have to activate the formation in advance. All 18 Foundation Establishment cultivators attacked the Earth Armor Boar. Unfortunately, the 18 flying swords only caused some superficial wounds to the Earth Armor Boar. The Earth Armor Pig's charging speed did not decrease. Wang Daoyuan's whip hit the Earth Armor Pig's leg, but it did not affect its speed much. He might be able to severely injure the Earth Armor Pig if he used the 5 Elements whip, but there was no need for him to reveal his trump card. Since this thing's skin was thick, it was useless to attack it forcefully. Then, he decided to use a softer approach. Wang Daoyuan used the water dragon technique to condense a 200-meter-long water dragon. As soon as the water dragon was formed, it let out a loud dragon roar, scaring all the demonic beasts. After all, a dragon was a divine beast. Ordinary demonic beasts would inevitably feel some fear when they felt the dragon's aura. It was just that these demonic beasts were not aquatic demonic beasts, so they did not have a strong fear of the dragon aura. They were only stunned for a moment before they continued to charge forward. At this moment, the Earth Armor Pig was less than 300 feet away from the peak of the mountain. Wang Daoyuan directly controlled the water dragon to pounce on the Earth Armor Pig. Although the Earth Armor Pig had a strong physical body, it had no way to deal with the water dragon technique. It was entangled by the water dragon technique. The Earth Armor Pig was extremely strong. Under its violent struggle, the water dragon could barely suppress it. At this moment, the demon exterminating crossbow had been replaced with spirit stones again. A demon exterminating crossbow aimed at the Earth Armor Pig. A beam of light struck, and a big hole was opened in the Earth Armor Pig's body. It died on the spot. Yang Jiqing praised him telepathically. Little friend Wang deserves the most credit for eliminating the Earth Armor Pig. After the beast tide is eliminated, Elder Yang will ask for a reward for you. The few hotheads who were jumping up and down were all killed. None of the demonic beasts dared to step forward anymore. The demonic beasts were less than 300 feet away from the peak of the mountain. They did not dare to advance or retreat. If they continued to stay, they would only be killed by the demon exterminating crossbows one by one. An ape's roar came from the foot of the mountain. All the demonic beasts turned around and ran down the mountain. Yang Jiqing said telepathically, "Chase. Retreat immediately when you reach halfway up the mountain." 19 Foundation Establishment cultivators flew into the sky and chased after the demonic beasts, casting spells to attack. Soon, the demonic beasts escaped to the foot of the mountain. Everyone stopped chasing. At this time, an intimidating ape's roar sounded from the foot of the mountain. Yun Yi, who Wang Daoyuan was sitting on, also let out a roar, intimidating the demonic beasts. The people and demonic beasts present were all shocked. Even the rank 2 upper-grade demonic beasts at the foot of the mountain were no exception. Wang Daoyuan was a little confused. Last time at the Ash Cloud Peak, Yun Yi suppressed 10 Foundation Establishment cultivators. Because of its large size, its roar was very loud. It was not strange that it suppressed everyone. However, Yun Yi's size and roar should be useless against the rank 2 upper-grade demonic beasts at the foot of the mountain. How could even they be suppressed? Could it be that there was some mystery behind Yun Yi's roar? The Myriad Spirit Atlas did not have a detailed record of Yun Yi tigers. It only mentioned that Yun Yi tigers were extremely rare, and their biggest feature was that they could fly. At this time, it was not the time to think about this. The demonic beasts fled down the mountain, and everyone returned to the top of the mountain. In this probing attack, the demonic beasts lost more than 30 demonic beasts, and more than 40 demonic beasts suffered light or serious injuries. However, in this attack, both sides did not bring out their true strength. On the demonic beast's side, none of the rank 2 upper-grade demonic beasts made a move. On the cultivator's side, the gold fiend's soul-severing formation did not activate either. Both sides did not put in all their strength. The good show was yet to come. After repelling the demonic beasts, their side was unscathed. Yang Jiqing laughed and said, Dao Yu has contributed greatly to repelling the demonic beasts. Before coming, Elder Yang instructed that killing a rank 2 upper-grade demonic beast would be rewarded with 500 spirit stones per demonic beast, 1,000 spirit stones per demonic beast, and 2,000 spirit stones for rank 2 upper-grade demonic beast. Helping to kill the demonic beasts would also give half of the spirit stones. I still remember all the contributions you've made, fellow Taoists. Wang Daoyuan did not care about this little bit of spirit stones. He took the initiative to respond to the recruitment this time. On one hand, he was worried that his life would be in danger if the 12th uncle came. On the other hand, he wanted to catch some mutated demonic beasts. After all, the demonic beasts in this small beast tide had all escaped from the depths of the sky/mountain range. There might be mutated demonic beasts with high-level demonic beast bloodlines. Catching one would be a huge gain. Taking advantage of the time when the demonic beasts retreated, everyone began to meditate to recover their spirit chi. The demonic beasts at the foot of the mountain also seized the time to rest. An hour later, following an ape's roar, the demonic beasts at the foot of the mountain moved again and slowly moved to the top of the mountain. This time, all the demonic beasts rushed up the mountain. Not a single demonic beast was left at the foot of the mountain. They were going to launch a general attack. Yang Jiqing ordered the Netherworld sect Qi refinement cultivators to gather half of the demon extermination crossbows in the other 3 directions to the east. The east was the focus of the demonic beasts' attack. The demonic beasts did not rush to the top of the mountain directly. Instead, they slowly climbed up. When they were halfway up the mountain, their speed still did not increase significantly. At this time, the demonic beasts had already entered the killing range of the demon extermination crossbows. Yang Jiqing ordered 2 demon extermination crossbows to attack and test the demonic beast's strength. The demonic beasts were too far away and had enough time to dodge. The attacks of the 2 demon extermination crossbows did not hurt the demonic beasts. The leader was a rank 2 intermediate ape. The other rank 2 advanced demonic beasts all listened to its orders obediently. The ape roared a few times in a low voice, as if commanding the demonic beast's next move. Ape-type demonic beasts were extremely smart to begin with. With a high cultivation, their intelligence would also improve significantly. A rank 2 intermediate ape's thinking ability should not be much worse than an ordinary person's. Of course, it still could not be compared to a human Foundation establishment cultivator. Commanding a demonic beast horde was not a problem. After the ape roared, the demonic beasts began to disperse. The demonic beasts with agile bodies and good at climbing began to move in the other 3 directions of Crouching Tiger Mountain. The other demonic beasts also dispersed and charged up the gentle slope on the east side. Chapter 182. The demonic beasts on the eastern slope began to charge up with all their might. Soon, they were only 100 feet away from the top of the mountain. This was the range of the gold fiend's soul-severing formation. The 35 demon extermination crossbows fired at the same time. Unfortunately, the demonic beasts were too scattered. This round of firing only killed a dozen or so demonic beasts and injured 20 or so. However, the casualties were all second-grade demonic beasts. The overall strength of the demonic beasts was not affected much. When it was testing the waters, the second-grade ape had already figured out the characteristics of the demon extermination crossbows. After one attack, the next attack would take 3 breaths of time. After this round of firing, it would not be able to attack again for 3 breaths of time. With the speed of a second-grade upper-grade demonic beast, 3 breaths of time was enough for it to reach the top of the mountain and finish off the demon extermination crossbows. The ape roared and took the lead to rush forward. When the rest of the demonic beasts saw that their leader had charged up, they followed suit. This time, Wang Daoyuan and the rest were dumbfounded. The demonic beasts were charging over recklessly. Relying on the flying swords to kill the enemies was completely useless. Even if some cultivators cultivated powerful ultimate moves, they would not be able to use them in such a short time. The ape was not simply charging over. It seemed to be accumulating strength to release a powerful ultimate move. After a breath of time, a blue single-horned phantom appeared on the ape's forehead. The single-horned phantom was more than a foot long and flashed with streaks of lightning. This ape was more than 30 feet tall and covered in black fur. If not for the blue single-horned phantom, it would look no different from an ordinary black ape. In the space, the doppelganger flipped through the myriad spirit atlas to find out the species of this ape. However, in the myriad spirit atlas, it did not find the exact same species as this ape. However, there were indeed ape-type demonic beasts with a blue single-horned phantom on their heads. This kind of ape-type demonic beast was called the horned lightning ape. Its biggest characteristic was the blue single-horned phantom on its forehead that flashed with lightning. The description of its horn in the book was exactly the same as the phantom on the black ape's head. The horned lightning ape was one of the strongest among the ape-type demonic beasts. It was said that an adult pure-blooded horned lightning ape's cultivation could reach the 6th grade. The horned lightning ape that was discovered and recorded by human cultivators was at most a mid-grade rank 5 demonic beast. The single-horned lightning ape had great potential. In a battle between demonic beasts of the same level, it was second only to demonic beasts with a high concentration of divine beast bloodline. The horned lightning ape wasn't afraid of other demonic beasts of the same level. Of course, the ape in front of him was definitely not a pure horned lightning ape. A real horned lightning ape's fur wasn't black. A young horned lightning ape was covered in white fur, which gradually turned golden, and finally purple gold. The horn on the horned lightning ape's forehead was a real horn. It wasn't like the ape in front of him, which only appeared when it cast a spell. However, the horned thunder ape bloodline in this black ape was not especially thin. Otherwise, the blue horn would not have appeared when he cast the spell. Wang Daoyuan was secretly delighted. With this fellow with the bloodline of the horned lightning ape, this trip was not in vain. If he could capture this black ape, whether it was to recognize him as its master or to refine it into an avatar, it would be a great help. He made up his mind to think of a way to capture this black ape. The most important thing right now was to break this black ape's attack. Even the true form of its ancestor was revealed. This attack of the black ape was definitely not a joke. Wang Daoyuan didn't hold back anymore. He gathered the 5 elemental spiritual energy on the 5 dragon soul chasing whip and lashed it towards the black ape's position. The 5 dragon soul chasing whip was not long enough to hit the black ape, but the force of the 5 elemental spiritual energy was very destructive within 100 feet. The speed of this force was even faster than a peak foundation establishment cultivator's flying sword. The black ape couldn't dodge the force of the force in time. It would either be killed by this whip, or use the spell that it had been accumulating for a long time to block this force. Without a doubt, the black ape chose to use its innate spell to block this attack. The horn on the black ape's forehead condensed into a ball of lightning the size of an adult's fist. It collided with the force of Wang Daoyuan's whip. This ball of lightning was indeed the bloodline inheritance of the horned lightning ape. Even though the black ape had not fully condensed the ball of lightning, the power of this attack was still slightly stronger than Wang Daoyuan's 5 elemental attack. The two attacks collided and exploded with a strong shockwave that swept across a radius of 20 feet. Wang Daoyuan didn't know the black ape's strength. He really didn't know if the 5 elemental attack could resist the black ape's innate spell. Therefore, after this whip was lashed out, he immediately used the smoke escape and shouted, "Get out of the way." The surrounding foundation establishment cultivators also reacted quickly. They immediately used their escape techniques and scattered in all directions, successfully dodging the shockwave of the explosion. However, the Qi refinement cultivators nearby weren't so lucky. They didn't have time to dodge at all and were directly engulfed by the shockwave. A total of 5 demon exterminating crossbows and 5 chi refinement cultivators were torn apart by the shockwave. There were also 2 chi refinement cultivators nearby who were severely injured by the shockwave. However, there was still hope of survival. The beast horde didn't have it easy either. Although the beast horde was more scattered than when they were probing, there were still many demon beasts within a radius of 20 feet. The second-tier inferior-grade demon beasts were severely injured and even killed. The second-tier middle-tier demon beasts were also severely injured. Although the second-tier superior-grade demon beasts weren't seriously injured, they were still thrown to the ground by the shockwave. Although the impact on the combat strength of the entire beast horde wasn't to the extent that they were seriously injured, the momentum of the entire beast horde's charge was restrained. This bought some time for the cultivators controlling the demon exterminating crossbows. They successfully fired another volley of arrows before the demon beasts could charge up. The demon beasts were stunned by the explosion. Just as they reacted, they suffered another volley of arrows. The losses were much greater than the previous time. More than 30 demon beasts died and close to 50 were injured. At this moment, within 100 feet of the mountain peak, a strong murderous aura suddenly exploded. Wang Daoyuan could only feel the murderous aura everywhere. It was as though hundreds of demon beasts were lying in ambush around him, ready to attack him at any moment. He only wanted to use all his strength to attack his surroundings. He knew that this was the activation of the gold malevolent soul severing formation. Even the minds of human cultivators were affected to this extent, let alone demon beasts with low intelligence. The timing was rather good. After being attacked twice in a row, the demon beasts were in a chaotic state and their minds were the easiest to be affected. Indeed, many demon beasts' eyes started to turn red as they attacked everything around them without restraint, including their companions. The entire beast horde was in a mess. The few demon beasts that were able to remain conscious were also captured by those that were not. The worst thing was that a second-tier metal attribute dermic art would appear in the beast horde from time to time. This was the attack method of the gold malevolent soul severing formation. The location of the dermic art was even more arbitrary. Usually, it would appear near a demon beast's vitals and was impossible to guard against. It was very easy to kill a demon beast. Even if one could avoid the fatal attack of the dermic art, as long as one was injured, the wound would slowly corrode and the demon beast would become extremely violent. If not for the low frequency of the dermic art, these dermic arts would have been able to destroy the entire beast horde. The Foundation establishment cultivators were not idle either. They flew in the air on their swords and threw all sorts of dermic arts at the beast horde. At this rate, the entire beast horde would be wiped out in less than an hour. The black ape was not affected by the formation at all. It let out a thunderous ape roar and all the living demon beasts in the beast horde woke up. After that, the black ape turned around and ran down the mountain. The living demon beasts also fled down the mountain. The Foundation establishment cultivators chased them all the way to the foot of the mountain. The beast horde did not stop at the foot of the mountain and continued to flee towards Yellowstone Peak. More than 100 demon beast corpses were left on the mountain slope and at the foot of the mountain. More than half of the demon beasts that attacked Crouching Tiger Mountain were killed. Chapter 183. Wang Daoyuan and the others chased them to the foot of the mountain, but they didn't dare to continue the chase. After all, there were still dozens of demon beasts that were scared out of their wits by the array formation. If they were chased too far, they would turn around and fight to the death. Wang Daoyuan and the others couldn't defeat dozens of demon beasts without the protection of the array formation and the demon annihilation crossbows. The battle on the east side of the mountain had ended, but there were still demon beasts on the other 3 sides. The black ape ordered the other demon beasts that were good at climbing to attack the other 3 sides of Crouching Tiger Mountain. There were also demon annihilation crossbows on the other 3 sides. In addition to the steep mountain, it wasn't easy for the demon beasts to reach the top. The array formation covered a height of 300 meters from the top of the mountain. The agile demon beasts couldn't avoid the array formation's attacks. The demon beasts on the east side fled, so the array formation was used to deal with them. When everyone returned to the top of the mountain, the demon beasts on the south, west, and north sides had all been dealt with. Yang Jiqing closed the array formation and walked to everyone with a smile. This victory is all thanks to Dao Yu, especially Wang Daoyuan. If it weren't for the whip that broke the Black Ape spell, there wouldn't be many demon annihilation crossbows left. At that time, even the Gold Fiend's soul-severing array wouldn't have much of an effect on the demon beasts. Little friend Wang deserves the most credit. The Underworld sect will reward you handsomely after we defeat the demon beasts. Wang Daoyuan naturally didn't care about the Underworld sect's reward. What would the Underworld sect be willing to give? Give him a high-level cultivation technique or spell? Help the Wang clan rebuild the myriad water origin array? Spiritual items that could help in establishing the Violet Palace realm? Or a flying warship for the Wang clan? Apart from that, Wang Daoyuan didn't lack anything. He still had more than 10 foundation establishment pills, and all the spiritual ingredients for the foundation establishment pills were stored in the interspatial ring. What the Netherworld sect could offer was nothing more than spirit stones, shops, magic tools, and the like. But even if he didn't care, he still had to put on a front. Thank you, Senior Yang. The Wang clan is a subsidiary clan of the Underworld sect and a part of Qingli County. It's our duty to resist the demon beasts. We don't dare to ask for rewards. Yang Jiqing praised the Wang family for their righteousness and hoped that the Wang family could continue to work hard for the Underworld sect. The Underworld sect would not mistreat loyal families. After some small talk, everyone began to meditate to recover their spiritual energy. Although the battle with the demonic beasts didn't last long, everyone was fighting with all their might, so they still consumed a lot of energy. Yang Jiqing had been controlling the array to attack, so he hadn't consumed much of his spiritual energy. He began to comfort the Qi refinement cultivators who were controlling the demon extermination crossbows and gave them some healing pills. In this battle, the casualties of these Qi refinement cultivators were not small. This was because the demon extermination crossbows they controlled were too much of a threat to the demonic beasts. Therefore, the demonic beasts' long-range magic attacks were mainly aimed at them. Of the 35 Qi refinement cultivators on the eastern side, 15 had died in battle and all of them were injured. Of the 15 Qi refinement cultivators on the other 3 sides of the mountaintop, 6 had died in battle. Nearly half of the Foundation establishment cultivators were killed, but not a single one of them died. After recovering his spiritual power, Wang Daoyuan continued to ride Yunyi outside to observe the enemy. Of course, this was just an excuse. Crouching Tiger Mountain was only 100 miles away from Yellowstone Peak, and there was nothing in between. With the eyesight of the Foundation establishment cultivators, although it was not enough to see the appearance of every demonic beast. But seeing the huge horde of demonic beasts, there was no problem at all. He wanted to see where the descendant of the horned thunder ape was. At the same time, he wanted to see if there were any high-value mutants in the horde. He didn't dare to get too close to the horde of demonic beasts and stopped more than 10 miles away. If he was too close, if a Tier 2 superior grade demonic beast with a fast speed and a long-range offensive innate spell appeared in the horde, he would be doomed. The quality of this group of demonic beasts was still very high. He discovered many mutants, but unfortunately, they were all Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts. He could still try to capture Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts. He didn't even dare to think about Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts. If he encountered ordinary Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts, he could only run, let alone mutants. Wang Daoyuan flew around the horde of demonic beasts as if he was choosing livestock. Some Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts were unhappy. They were the masters of a region in the heaven/mountain range. Who could tolerate being treated like livestock? A few Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts roared at Wang Daoyuan. Yunyi felt that she had been provoked and let out a loud tiger roar. Those few demonic beasts were stunned at that moment. Wang Daoyuan was also somewhat helpless. Previously on Crouching Tiger Mountain, when the demonic beasts charged, why didn't you shout? It didn't matter if your master was beaten, but you couldn't tolerate someone shouting at you? He found the black ape with the horned thunder ape bloodline in the horde of demonic beasts. The demonic beasts were angry, so he did not dare to continue provoking them. He turned and flew towards Yellowstone Peak. However, he did not enter Yellowstone Peak. Yang Zhiqing had already sent a message to inform him of the battle situation on Crouching Tiger Mountain. There was no need to do anything unnecessary. He only greeted them and flew towards the northwest. He wanted to see if there were any high-value demonic beasts outside Jade Bamboo Peak. Jade Bamboo Peak was not bare like Yellowstone Peak and Crouching Tiger Mountain. It was filled with green pines and green bamboo. The bamboo planted on the peak was the green jade bamboo. The spirit vein here was of the wood attribute and was especially suitable for the growth of the green jade bamboo. Jade Bamboo Peak was also the place that produced the most green jade bamboo in the entire Qingli Prefecture. At this time, the demonic beast horde was attacking Jade Bamboo Peak. This place was a middle-grade Tier 2 spirit vein after all. The demonic beasts attacking the mountain were more than Crouching Tiger Mountain, a total of more than 300. The number of Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts was also much more. There were also mutants among them, but they were similarly all Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts. Wanting to capture them was simply impossible. The array formation on Jade Bamboo Peak was not weak either. After a group of demonic beasts attacked, all kinds of aggressive plants grew out of thin air on the ground. Some were even highly poisonous, disgusting the demonic beasts. Very soon, the demonic beasts retreated in defeat. They also did not attempt to attack Jade Bamboo Peak anymore. Instead, they directly returned to the bottom of Yellowstone Peak and met up with the large group of demonic beasts. At the bottom of Yellowstone Peak, after the demonic beasts met up, a white tiger walked to the front. The spirit energy waves emitted by this white tiger were clearly much stronger than the other Tier 2 superior grade demonic beasts. It was not far from breaking through to Tier 3. It should be the temporary beast king of this group of demonic beasts. It let out a few low growls at the demonic beast horde. The demonic beasts no longer attacked Yellowstone Peak. Instead, they circled around the two sides of the peak and continued to advance towards the west. The Netherworld sect's original goal was to set up array formations on Yellowstone Peak, Jade Bamboo Peak, and Crouching Tiger Peak to fight a war of attrition and completely exhaust this group of demonic beasts. Generally, demonic beast hordes that did not have Tier 3 demonic beasts leading them were especially stubborn. When they encountered an obstacle, they would not give up until they attacked. They did not expect to encounter a mutant who actually knew to change targets. This time, everyone on Yellowstone Peak was dumbfounded, especially the clans in the central part of Qingli Prefecture. They were as anxious as ants on a hot pan. The northwest was their territory. There were not many preparations there and could not withstand the demonic beast horde scourge. Ordinary clans only had Tier 2 array formations protecting the main peak. If the Foundation establishment cultivators here went over to provide support, they could still defend. But the other spirit mountains without Tier 2 array formations did not have time to set up array formations. They could only allow the demonic beasts to wreak havoc. Most importantly, most of the clans behind them did not protect their ordinary clansmen. If they could not stop these demonic beasts, many of the clans in the central part of Qingli Prefecture would probably only have the main peak left. The businesses and clansmen outside the main peak would all be destroyed by the demonic beasts. Chapter 184. More than 30 Foundation establishment cultivators from the central region of Qingli County were as anxious as ants on a hot pan, asking Yang Ziyuan for orders. They requested Yang Ziyuan to send out cultivators to chase after the demonic beasts. They couldn't let the demonic beasts continue to wreak havoc. A few young and impetuous Foundation establishment cultivators even disobeyed orders and directly went to stop the demonic beasts. Yang Ziyuan hurriedly comforted them. Dao Yu, please calm down. The demonic beasts have suffered greatly at the 3 spiritual mountains. There are at most 600 demonic beasts left. More than half of them are injured. The demonic beasts can't advance too quickly. The Kong clan to the west of the Qin clan is more than 1,000 li away. The demonic beasts will need at least half a day to reach there. Right now, the situation isn't so critical. Let's discuss countermeasures first. We only have 90 foundation establishment cultivators. If we don't think of countermeasures, we'll all die in battle. It won't be of any use. Leave a few people to defend the other 2 spiritual mountains. Gather the other foundation establishment cultivators and discuss countermeasures. Wang Daoyuan was just outside Yellow Rock Peak. He didn't need to return to Crouching Tiger Mountain and directly landed on Yellow Rock Peak. After everyone had gathered, Yang Ziyuan asked, the demonic beasts have bypassed Yellow Rock Peak and continued to advance west. How should we deal with them? Fellow Taoists present here, regardless of age or cultivation level, feel free to speak your mind. A young-looking 4th-level foundation establishment cultivator stood up and said, how else can we deal with them? We'll chase after them together. These demonic beasts can't fly. We'll fly on our swords in the air and use magic to smash them. This person was more rash and didn't have any schemes. Another young-looking 5th-level foundation establishment cultivator said, it's too dangerous to charge directly. The demonic beast's long-range magic isn't to be trifled with. I think Daoyu's Uni Tiger isn't bad. It can be used to attract the demonic beast's attention and reduce the casualties of Daoyu. This person was called Kong Tiancheng, a member of the Kong clan. The demonic beasts were heading towards the Kong clan. The Kong clan's ancestor was the disciple of the Netherworld sect's external branch Zifu Elder. He had already passed away. Although the external branch Zifu Elder didn't put the Kong clan in his eyes. However, when the Kong family was established, they had offended many of the old families. If they wanted to gain a foothold, they could only cling to the thighs of the foreign family. If they had the chance, they would disgust the old family. Wang Daoyuan asked, what about my Uni Tiger? Kong Tiancheng said disdainfully, just a beast. Wang Daoyuan didn't get angry and instead smiled, Senior Yang, this one suffered some internal injuries when fighting with the monster beast and will need to rest for 2 days. The foundation establishment cultivators of the old clans in the northern part of Qingli County also claimed to be injured and requested to rest for 2 days. The beast horde only threatened the central region of Qingli Prefecture. The cultivators in the northern region of Qingli Prefecture came all the way here to support the central region, yet you still played tricks on them. Who could take this lying down? He was already giving the Yang family face if he didn't leave immediately. 2 days was more than enough time for the beast hordes to destroy the Kong family. Most of the old families in the north didn't want to do it anymore, and Yang Ziyuan didn't dare to force them to do it. This would damage the relationship between the Yang family and the other families. In any case, everyone only wanted to rest for 2 days. The Kong family also had foundation establishment cultivators in a mountain protecting formation, so they could hold on for a while. In 2 days, the beast horde would at most take down the Kong family, and they wouldn't have enough time to attack the next family. Other than the few families bordering the Kong family, the other local families were also happy to watch the show. No matter how noisy the conflict between factions was, there was still a time. Facing the beast horde and still thinking about tricking the enemy faction, they deserved to die. Continuing like this wasn't a solution. Yang Ziyuan asked Liang Jiaxing, Liang Daoyu, what do you think? He wanted the Liang family to take the lead and call on the foundation establishment cultivators to help the Kong family. Right now, the Liang family only wanted to be a grandson and recuperate. How could they have the leisure to care about the Kong family? Liang Jiaxing ignored Kong Tiancheng's pleading gaze, saying, since everyone Daoyu is injured, then rest for 2 days. If the Liang family didn't take the lead, the Yang family didn't need to care about the foreign families. It wasn't worth offending all the families in the northern part of Qingli Prefecture for the Kong family. The Kong family being razed to the ground by the beast horde had nothing to do with the Yang family. As long as the beast horde was successfully destroyed, the Yang family's ancestor would have done a meritorious deed in the underworld sect. What did it matter if a few families were destroyed? Yang Ziyuan smiled, since everyone says so, then rest for 2 days and fight again 2 days later. Kong Tiancheng panicked and hurriedly begged for help. Senior Yang, Senior Liang, please save the Kong family. A few neighboring families were afraid that if the Kong family was destroyed, they would be implicated. They also begged for leniency. Yang Ziyuan had no choice. Kong Tiancheng was too dishonest. No one wanted to care. Helpless, he could only say, "Why don't you Dao Yu go and help the Kong family first? The other Dao Yu are injured. Wait until they recover, then go and help." The families around the Kong family didn't have any objections. As long as the demon beasts didn't attack their territory, they were fine with helping out. Kong Tiancheng was completely isolated and helpless. He could only rush back to the family's spirit mountain with a few Foundation establishment cultivators who were willing to help. The other Foundation establishment cultivators rested at Yellowstone Peak for 2 days. 2 days later, 3 people stayed at each of the Qin family's 3 mountains. The others went to the Kong family's Scattered Stone Peak. When they arrived at Scattered Stone Peak, they saw more than 300 demon beasts besieging the Scattered Stone Peak's defensive formation. The other demon beasts were separately destroying various properties. The Kong family, whether cultivators or mortals, had suffered heavy losses. The few Foundation establishment cultivators who came to help the Kong family had also suffered heavy injuries. At this time, the Foundation establishment cultivators on Scattered Stone Peak were as excited as if they had seen their parents when they saw reinforcements. When the demon beasts saw dozens of cultivators, they didn't continue fighting and retreated from Scattered Stone Peak. The other demon beasts that were destroying everywhere also gathered together. They went around Scattered Stone Peak and continued to advance westward. The temporary beast king of the demon beast horde was quite intelligent. It didn't fight head-on. When it saw many people, it left in a group. If this continued, wouldn't it bring disaster to all the families in the central part of Qingli County? As for countermeasures, no one was a fool. They all knew what to do, but no one dared to say it out loud. The best strategy was to kill the Beast King with all their strength. Once the Beast King died, no other demon beasts could convince the entire beast horde. The entire beast horde would immediately disperse. It wouldn't be difficult for everyone to defeat them one by one. But these 600 demon beasts that scattered in all directions would cause huge losses to the local families. Whoever suggested this idea would offend the majority of the families in the central part of Qingli County. The Foundation establishment cultivators who came with the Yang family were naturally not in a hurry. In any case, the demon beasts couldn't reach the northern part of Qingli County. If the local families didn't step forward, the foreign cultivators would naturally be happy to watch the show. When the demon beasts left Scattered Stone Peak, Kong Tiancheng saw that his family's territory was in a mess. He lost more than half of his clansmen. His heart was full of resentment. He didn't hate himself for courting death. Instead, he hated Wang Daoyuan for messing with him. He hated the Yang family and Liang family for not helping. He hated the local families for not helping. If he wanted to take revenge on the Wang, Yang, and Liang family, the Kong family was too far away to do anything. They also didn't have the strength to take revenge. They could only take revenge on the local families who didn't help. Thus, he suggested to Yang Ziyuan, Senior Yang, it's not a good idea to continue fighting like this. Why don't we find a chance to kill the Beast King first and let the beast horde scatter? We can then defeat them one by one. Chapter 185. Kong Tiancheng also threw caution to the wind. The Kong family wasn't well liked to begin with. When there were too many debts, there was no need to worry. When there were too many lice, there was no need to bite. It didn't matter if there were some new enmity. He had nothing to lose. Hearing this, Wang Daoyuan and the others all revealed smiling faces. It was easy to handle with someone taking the lead. Everyone didn't want to waste time like this, but they also didn't want to offend people. Now that someone took the lead, everyone was naturally happy to see it happen. The foundation establishment cultivators of the native families all heaved a sigh of relief when they heard this. They also knew in their hearts that with less than 100 foundation establishment cultivators, if they wanted to pacify the beast tide, they could only kill the beast king and make the beast herd fall apart. If they continued to delay, the ones to suffer losses would still be their native families. Yang Ziyuan naturally didn't want to delay. Since someone suggested it, he hurriedly agreed. He nodded and said, Daoyu's words are reasonable. I wonder if Daoyu has any objections? Everyone was waiting for someone to say this, so they naturally had no objections. Yang Ziyuan struck while the iron was hot and said, since there are no objections, then let's talk about how to deal with the Beast King. The Beast King of this beast herd should be in existence about to break through to rank 3. Otherwise, it wouldn't have such high intelligence. In addition, the demonic beasts of this beast tide all came from the depths of the heaven/mountain range. There are many mutants with high-level demonic beast bloodlines. For this Beast King to be able to stand out, its strength naturally far surpasses those of the same rank. I'm afraid that everyone present isn't its match. It won't be easy for us to kill such a powerful demonic beast in the midst of a horde of demonic beasts. Daoyu, do you have any good ideas? An old native foundation establishment cultivator said, less than 200 miles west from here is the Crimson Sand River. The Crimson Sand River flows from east to west into the Qingli River. This area is mostly a tributary of the Crimson Sand River. We only need to drive the beast herd to the intersection of the Crimson Sand River and its tributaries. At that time, the beast herd will face the water. If we want to continue forward, we can only cross the river. When the demonic beasts cross the river, we can easily cause chaos and cause the beast herd to scatter. At that time, the Beast King will definitely stand up to maintain the situation. If we take the opportunity to kill the Beast King, it will be difficult for the other demonic beasts to quickly rescue. To the beast tide that was to the wind to deal with, it was indeed a good idea. Since no one had any objections, the next step was to assign tasks. Who would harass the beast hordes and who would kill the Beast King would need to be carefully arranged. Yang Ziyuan didn't know what everyone was good at, so he asked the cultivators present to recommend themselves. He could choose between harassing the beast horde or killing the Beast King. It was Wang Daoyuan's turn to choose. Naturally, he wanted to harass the beasts crossing the river. The water dragon technique was indeed suitable for this task. It was too dangerous to fight to the death with a Beast King that was about to break through to rank 3. It was safer to harass the beast horde. All 80 people present had made their choice. In the end, only a dozen or so people were willing to kill the Beast King. To kill a Beast King, one had to kill it quickly. Otherwise, if the other demonic beasts came to support, the decapitation operation would become a forceful attack. If they wanted to kill them quickly, the number of people they had was clearly not enough. Left with no choice, Yang Ziyuan could only force all cultivators above the 6th level of Qi refinement to participate in the killing of the Beast King. Now, there were more than 30 people who participated in the killing of the Beast King. Yang Zhiqing said to Wang Daoyuan, little friend Wang, although your cultivation level isn't high, the power of your whip is not small. When we were defending Crouching Tiger Mountain, if you hadn't broken the Black Ape's Thunder Ball with one whip, we wouldn't have been able to defeat the beast horde so easily. The power of your whip is even stronger than the ultimate moves of many 6th level foundation establishment cultivators. Moreover, the speed of your whip is very fast. It can be used to interrupt the Beast King's spell casting. Why don't you also participate in the killing of the Beast King? Wang Daoyuan was a little unsure of what he wanted to do. Was he trying to drag him into the water and attract hatred for him, or was he purely trying to increase the success rate of killing the Beast King? A cultivator from the Liang family on the side interrupted, I've long heard that Dao Yu obtained the inheritance of an ancient cultivator and learned a set of brilliant five-element techniques. This whip technique is also an ancient cultivator's inheritance, right? To be able to successfully reach foundation establishment with 5 spirit veins, it seems that ancient cultivator also left behind a lot of foundation establishment pills. I wonder if Dao Yu can tell us how many foundation establishment pills there are in total. Wang Daoyuan was actually very grateful to this person. Next, he would arrange for 8th uncle and Jiao Gu to reach foundation establishment. This sentence was simply an excuse for him. However, he couldn't directly admit it. He sneered and said, I heard that the Liang family's ancestor has a good relationship with the elders of the Cruel Sun Palace. May I ask how many friends does the Liang family's ancestor have in the Cruel Sun Palace? When the Liang family members heard this, they immediately stood up and used their aura to suppress Wang Daoyuan. Liang Zhexing questioned, Wang Daoyuan, what do you mean by this? Wang Daoyuan released Yun Yi and said, I mean what you Liang family members mean. Seeing that Yun Yi was released, the Liang family members were afraid that Yun Yi would let out another tiger roar and make a fool of themselves, so they immediately withdrew their aura. As the leader of the resistance against the beast tide, Yang Ziyuan naturally couldn't watch them fight among themselves. He said, we are now discussing how to kill the Beast King. Don't talk about other things here. Since little friend Wang has a powerful killing move, let's attack the Beast King together. After that, the people involved in besieging the Beast King carefully discussed the order of attacking the Beast King, as well as the remedial measures in case of an unexpected situation. In the end, Wang Daoyuan's task was to interrupt the Beast King's casting process when it was about to launch an offensive spell. After the preparations for the plan were completed, everyone left Rubble Peak on their swords and followed closely behind the demonic beasts. The demonic beasts were unmoved and continued to advance to the west. As long as human cultivators approached, they would use long-range spells to attack. 2 hours later, the demonic beasts arrived at the intersection of the Crimson Sand River and a tributary. Beast tides had always been straightforward. As long as they weren't scattered, they would always fight in one direction. Terrestrial demonic beasts didn't like to enter the water. Faced with the boundless water of the 100 Rivers Lake, they naturally didn't dare to cross it. However, the Crimson Sand River's width couldn't be compared to the 100 Rivers Lake. At the Crimson Sand River, the demonic beasts only paused for a moment before a few second-rank upper-grade demonic beasts took the lead and began to cross the river to the west. After the leading second-rank upper-grade demonic beasts crossed the Crimson Sand River, the other demonic beasts also began to enter the water. At this time, the cultivators in charge of harassing the demonic beasts flew above the demonic beasts on their swords and began to use spells to attack the demonic beasts. The demonic beasts were in the water and couldn't dodge in time. Many demonic beasts were hit by the spells. Because they were too close, they squeezed each other while dodging, causing the entire demonic beasts to be in chaos. The white tiger leaped onto a slope and was about to let out a tiger roar when it raised its head. Suddenly, 2 earth-yellow spikes drilled out of the soil under its feet and directly attacked its abdomen. The white tiger suppressed its roar and jumped, dodging the 2 spikes. Before its body had even landed, a fishing net had already covered it. The white tiger was in the air and had nowhere to borrow strength. It opened its mouth and spat out a wind with metal attribute spiritual energy, hitting the fishing net. However, this fishing net was also a second-rank mid-grade magic tool, so how could it be broken by its hasty counterattack? The white tiger was still trapped by the fishing net. Just as it was about to tear the fishing net apart, more than 10 flying swords attacked it. Its spiritual energy surged and its body flashed with a dazzling silver light. When the flying swords hit the white tiger's body, at most they left a shallow wound, not enough to cause any serious damage. However, the cultivators didn't expect the flying swords to be able to take down the white tiger. The cultivators at the 8th or 9th level of Foundation establishment didn't use their flying swords to attack the white tiger. Instead, they gathered their spiritual energy on the side, preparing to cast a powerful spell to deal a fatal blow to the white tiger. The white tiger was about to become a third-rank demonic beast, and a third-rank demonic beast's intelligence was comparable to that of an ordinary person. The white tiger's intelligence was also very close to that of an ordinary person, and coupled with its keen perception. Naturally, it knew what these people were up to. The muscles on its two front legs bulged, directly tearing a large hole in the second-rank mid-grade fishing net. It fell out of the fishing net. It thought that it could escape, but it didn't expect that what awaited it on the ground was a second-rank Earth Attribute spell, Quagmire spell. Using Earth Attribute spiritual energy to create a muddy ground, people or demonic beasts that fall on it will be trapped in the quagmire. If they can't break free in the first place, they will sink deeper and deeper. If they want to escape, they can only rely on their powerful spiritual energy to forcibly break the spell. This quagmire was created by many 7th-level Foundation establishment cultivators casting the quagmire spell. Even if the white tiger can break it, it will take time. And the cultivators who were gathering their spiritual energy won't give it this time. Since they can't break the spell in a short time, they can only deal with the caster. A spiritual energy vortex appeared around the white tiger, and the spiritual energy fluctuation on the surface of its body was getting stronger and stronger. It was obviously preparing to cast a powerful spell. At this time, it was Wang Daoyuan's turn to act. To interrupt the spell of a second-rank peak demonic beast is not a simple matter. At this time, the white tiger's spiritual energy was surging. Even if he attacked with all his strength, it would be very difficult to interrupt the spell. He must wait for an opportunity. He condensed all the spiritual energy in his body in his right hand and poured it into the 5-dragon soul-chasing whip. If he can't interrupt the white tiger's spell, the few cultivators who trapped the white tiger may die. If the white tiger escapes, this decapitation plan will fail. After the white tiger finished condensing its spiritual energy, the spiritual energy shield on its body was also retracted, and all the spiritual energy was gathered in its mouth. The opportunity came. Wang Daoyuan pulled out the whip and hit the white tiger's head. At this time, the white tiger can continue to cast spells, but there is no time to dodge. It doesn't have the slightest protection now, and can only rely on its physical body to resist the harassment attack of the flying sword. However, Wang Daoyuan's whip made it feel a huge sense of danger. Without any protection, it was completely possible that it would lose its life. But it was already very strenuous to control the spiritual energy gathered in its mouth, and it can't condense any more spiritual energy to defend. In desperation, it can only condense the spiritual energy in its mouth and hit Wang Daoyuan. After Wang Daoyuan pulled out the whip, he directly used the smoke escape to dodge. He knows his own strength. This whip may be able to resist a second-rank mid-grade monster, but it can't block a second-rank peak monster's spell. The white tiger let out a long roar, and a strong wind carrying metal attribute spiritual energy swept towards Wang Daoyuan's previous position. He detonated the spiritual energy from the whip, but unfortunately, in the strong wind, it didn't cause any waves, and was completely annihilated. At the place where Wang Daoyuan was previously, there was a 3 feet deep, 2 feet wide, and more than 200 feet long hole in the ground. Seeing this, he felt a burst of fear. If this hit him, he will directly be smashed to pieces. At this time, some monsters came to the white tiger's rescue. When they agreed on the plan before, it was already arranged. When several monsters rushed up, a few 6th-level Foundation establishment cultivators immediately went to stop them, not to kill the monsters, but to delay them for a few breaths of time. The white tiger's long-stored attack missed, and it immediately gathered spiritual energy again. Unfortunately, time waits for no tiger. More than a dozen 8th and 9th level Foundation establishment cultivators finished storing energy in advance. Wang Daoyuan rode on Yun-Yi and flew away to avoid being injured by the aftermath of the battle. More than a dozen colorful spells were cast, and all of them smashed on the white tiger's body. Only to hear the white tiger let out a desperate cry, followed by more than a dozen explosions. The white tiger was drowned by spells. Chapter 186. The white tiger's wail and the explosion of the spell attracted the attention of many demonic beasts. When the spell's power dissipated, there was a huge pit with a diameter of 50 feet and a depth of 70 to 80 feet. There was only dark red soil in the pit. Not even a bit of the white tiger was left. When the demonic beasts saw that the Beast King was killed, they let out low growls of fear. Without the Beast King, the demonic beasts lost their order and began to scatter. Wang Daoyuan kept staring at the black ape with the bloodline of the horned lightning ape. The ape-type demonic beasts were indeed intelligent. It did not scatter like the other demonic beasts. Instead, it followed the small demonic beasts that had the most demonic beasts. The demonic beasts scattered in all directions. The local clans were worried that these demonic beasts would enter their territory, so they chased after the scattered demonic beasts. The clans that were located in the southernmost part of Qingli County also sent some cultivators to intercept the demonic beasts that were heading north to prevent them from threatening their territory. After the small demonic beasts that the black ape was in crossed the Crimson Sand River, they no longer advanced towards the west. Instead, they fled towards the southwest. The small demonic beasts were led by a few second-tier upper-grade demonic beasts that had crossed the river first. However, their prestige could not be compared to the Beast King. The demonic beasts continued to scatter. The demonic beasts became smaller and smaller. There were only a few hundred left. The small demonic beasts advanced another 200 to 300 miles towards the southwest. There was a small mountain range that stretched for a few hundred miles. This small mountain range was called the 100 Spirit Mountain. The mountain was rich in spirit energy. In the past, there were many demonic beasts in the mountain. Later, it was occupied by the surrounding clans. They opened up many forests and spirit fields. The demonic beasts were basically exterminated. If the small demonic beasts were to escape, the surrounding clans would suffer great losses. Moreover, although this mountain range was called a small mountain range, it was not small compared to the Heaven/Mountain Range. More than 100 second-tier demonic beasts escaped into the mountain. To exterminate all of them, it would take too much manpower and time. They had no choice but to exterminate them. There were many clans around the 100 Spirit Mountain. If they were to leave this group of demonic beasts, the surrounding clans would have to sleep with only one eye open. Who knew when the demonic beasts would surround their own spirit mountain? At this moment, the demonic beasts were in a low-lying area with rivers. They could see the 100 Spirit Mountain in the distance. These 100 demonic beasts ran towards the 100 Spirit Mountain with all their might. When the small beast herd was less than 200 miles away from the Beiyuan Spirit Mountain, tens of demon beasts left the small beast herd and fled towards the east. The cultivators chasing after them were all worried that the small beast horde would escape into the 100 Spirit Mountain. In the east, there was a large plain mixed with lone peaks. More than 10 demonic beasts were running towards the east. There was no place for them to hide. It wouldn't be too late to kill them after dealing with the small group of demonic beasts. The other cultivators didn't care, but Wang Daoyuan did. The black ape was among the 10 or so demonic beasts. The ranks of these demonic beasts were not high. Only 3 of them were middle-grade tier 2 demonic beasts, while the rest were low-grade tier 2 demonic beasts. As for the second stage upper-grade demonic beasts, they all wanted to escape into the 100 Spirit Mountain and continue to dominate. They were unwilling to run in any other direction. Wang Daoyuan separated himself from the other cultivators and chased after the 10 demonic beasts alone. The speed of these demonic beasts running on the ground was incomparable to the speed of him riding Yun-Yi in the sky. Relying on his speed advantage, he constantly flew above the group of demonic beasts, and whenever he saw an opportunity, he would lash out with his whip. The demonic beasts fled for less than 30 miles, but they had already lost 3 second-stage low-grade tier 2 demonic beasts. Wang Daoyuan was not in a hurry to kill them immediately. Every time, he would pick up the corpses of the demonic beasts and continue to chase. Seeing that their companions were constantly being killed and the enemy was still chasing after them, these demonic beasts began to scatter and flee. When the second stage low-grade demonic beasts scattered, Wang Daoyuan naturally wouldn't chase after them. Instead, he continued to chase after the 3 second-stage mid-grade demonic beasts. He would seize the opportunity to whip the black ape's companions. In the end, the other 2 second-stage mid-grade demonic beasts also began to scatter and flee. Wang Daoyuan followed closely behind the black ape. He was not in a hurry to deal with it. What he wanted was to subdue the black ape and make it recognize him as its master. If he refined it into a clone, then the black ape would basically be crippled. If its soul was damaged, it would be difficult for its cultivation to improve. The growth of its bloodline talent would also stop there. However, this black ape had a high-grade demonic beast bloodline. Its strength far exceeded its peers. Naturally, it had its pride. How could it be easily subdued? If he didn't beat down its pride, even if he made it recognize him as its master, it might not be obedient in the future. At a critical moment, it might even betray its master. To beat down its pride, he had to first make it feel despair, and then give it hope to survive. Wang Daoyuan drove Yun-Yi to lower the flying altitude, descending to a height of only 50 to 60 feet from the ground. At this height, as long as a second-stage demonic beast had a long-range attack spell, it could hit it. The black ape was also not good-tempered. After being beaten for a long time and still not being able to hit the enemy, it had long been suppressing its anger. Seeing Wang Daoyuan enter its attack range, how could it easily let him go? Violent spiritual power fluctuations appeared on the black ape's body, flickering with blue lightning. Following that, a 1-foot-long blue single-horned phantom appeared on its forehead. This time, it did not store power for too long. As soon as the single-horned phantom formed, it released a fist-sized thunderball. However, the spiritual power fluctuations of this thunderball were far inferior to the one at Crouching Tiger Mountain previously. Wang Daoyuan waved the long whip in his hand, and the force he released collided with the thunderball. After an explosion, the force and the thunderball disappeared. The black ape did not stop and continued to release thunderballs, but they were all destroyed by Wang Daoyuan's whip. The speed at which it released the thunderball was far inferior to the speed at which Wang Daoyuan attacked with the whip. While releasing the thunderball, it also had to constantly dodge Wang Daoyuan's attacks. Its dodging speed was somewhat unable to keep up, and its body suffered quite a few blows. The black ape did not relax its defense. There was always a thunder attribute spiritual power fluctuation on its body, and the force from the whip could only cause some superficial wounds. However, pain was unavoidable. The black ape was beaten until it grimaced in pain, but its eyes still revealed a rebellious look. Since it was not afraid of being beaten, Wang Daoyuan was even more unconcerned. He would just continue to waste time. The 5-dragon soul-chasing whip and his 5-spirit immortal ascension technique complemented each other. It consumed little spiritual power and was very powerful. He was not afraid of anyone in terms of consumption. Besides, didn't he still have the aged scarlet blood wine? With the experience of being broken by Wang Daoyuan in advance, the black ape did not dare to accumulate power to release the thunderball with high lethality. The black ape could not escape, could not hit, and could only take a beating. After more than 2 hours, the horn on the black ape's forehead became extremely dim. After releasing a thunderball, the horn completely disappeared. Wang Daoyuan casually destroyed the thunderball and drove Yun-Yi to land on the ground. Although the black ape's spiritual power was exhausted, it still did not give up. Seeing him land, it directly rushed up to fight with him. Wang Daoyuan naturally did not dare to fight with it in close combat. He used the water dragon technique and directly entangled the black ape. The water dragon brought the black ape more than 10 feet high in the air. After fighting for more than 2 hours, Wang Daoyuan's spiritual power consumption was also very high. He took out a jar of 50-year-old scarlet blood wine and drank a few mouthfuls. The fragrance of the wine spread in all directions. The black ape was constantly inhaling in the air, and its saliva was about to flow out. After half a cup of tea's time, his spiritual power was completely recovered. He used his divine sense to send a message to the black ape. If you're willing to acknowledge me as your master and become my spirit beast, I'll let you go. If you don't, you'll have to die. The black ape was tied up in the air by the water dragon. It wanted to break free, but it couldn't use its strength. The black ape sent a message: if I acknowledge you as my master, can you let me drink the thing in your hand? Wang Daoyuan pointed at the wine jar and asked, you'll acknowledge me as your master with this? The black ape nodded solemnly. Wang Daoyuan felt that the whole world was collapsing. Where's the arrogance? Where's the arrogance? After spending so much effort, he still couldn't beat the black ape. In the end, it was fine as long as there was wine. He controlled the water dragon and put down the black ape. He turned the water dragon into a water dragon armor and used the master recognition on the black ape. The black ape stared at the wine jar on the ground the whole time, without any desire to resist. After a few dozen breaths, the master recognition was completed. The black ape rushed over, hugged the wine jar and drank wildly. Chapter 187. After the black ape finished drinking a jar of scarlet blood wine, it couldn't walk steadily, but it could still stay sober. Its alcohol tolerance was much higher than Wang Daoxing's. Wang Daoyuan put the black ape into the spirit beast bag. After all, it wasn't a spirit beast that he had raised since it was young. He didn't feel at ease putting it in the space of the spirit pearl. After putting away the black ape, Wang Daoyuan began to chase after the other demonic beasts. However, he was chasing after the demonic beasts that had escaped with the black ape. As for the small group of demonic beasts that had escaped to 100 Spirit Mountain, they were the main force of this beast tide. There were a large number of second-rank high-grade demonic beasts. Many of the demonic beasts had high-grade demonic beast bloodlines and were extremely powerful. He didn't want to gnaw on these tough bones. His clan was thousands of miles away from here, and there was also Clear Glass City in between. No matter how much trouble the demonic beasts caused, it had nothing to do with him. Previously, when he was patrolling the demonic beasts, the only one suitable for subduing was the black ape. Even if he killed the other demonic beasts, he could only exchange them for spirit stones. It wasn't worth risking his life for spirit stones. After wandering around for a day, he killed more than 20 second-rank low-grade and middle-grade demonic beasts. Yang Ziyuan sent a message through the conscription order, ordering the cultivators who had dealt with the demonic beasts to gather at 100 Spirit Mountain. Wang Daoyuan rode Yunyi and slowly rushed to 100 Spirit Mountain. On the way to 100 Spirit Mountain, he saw the remains of many demonic beasts. After arriving, he learned that Yang Ziyuan had led a group of cultivators above the 6th level of Foundation establishment to chase after the small group of demonic beasts. They killed dozens of demonic beasts, but more than 40 demonic beasts still fled into 100 Spirit Mountain. The demonic beasts that fled into 100 Spirit Mountain scattered and hid in the mountains and dense forests. It was very difficult to find them. After many battles, those that survived were not weak. It wasn't a problem for them to fight a late-stage Foundation establishment cultivator alone. Foundation establishment cultivators couldn't enter the mountain alone. To completely destroy this group of demonic beasts without suffering heavy casualties, it was not something that Foundation establishment cultivators could do. They had to invite a Zifu Mansion elder. Zifu Mansion cultivators' divine senses were powerful. It was very difficult for second-rank demonic beasts to hide from their divine senses. The sneak attacks of second-rank demonic beasts also couldn't threaten Zifu Mansion cultivators. The clans around 100 Spirit Mountain had suffered great losses. There were many small spirit veins on Bailing Spirit Mountain, which created a large number of spirit fields and forests, which were important sources of income for the nearby families. Now, more than 40 rank 2 demonic beasts had entered. Who would dare to go in and guard the property? Not only did they have to give up all their businesses in the 100 Spirit Mountain, but they also had to guard against the demonic beasts attacking their businesses outside of the 100 Spirit Mountain. At this time, several Foundation establishment cultivators from nearby clans surrounded Yang Ziyuan and requested him to eliminate the demon beasts in the 100 Spirit Mountain as soon as possible. Yang Ziyuan was also helpless. If they were to face the enemy head-on, these second-order demonic beasts could not fly and would definitely not be a match for human cultivators. However, they escaped into the mountains and forests, hiding in the mountains and forests. When they suddenly attacked, the human cultivators were no match for them at all. No matter how noisy the Foundation establishment cultivators were, Yang Ziyuan did not dare to let anyone enter the 100 Spirit Mountain. The mission of the northern cultivators of Qingli Prefecture was to repel the beast tide. Now that the Beast King was dead, the horde of beasts scattered like stars. Most of them had been exterminated. The mission set by the conscription order had already been completed. The demonic beasts that had entered the 100 Spirit Mountain could only harm the families near the mountain. To the entire Qingli Prefecture, the effect was negligible. In this conscription, only a few of the Foundation establishment cultivators from the northern part of Qingli Prefecture were injured. None of them died. On the other hand, more than 10 local cultivators died in battle. However, they had received orders from the Netherworld sect and were not conscripted under Elder Yang's name. To Yang Ziyuan, this great battle against the demonic beast tide could be said to be a complete victory. If they entered the 100 Spirit Mountain again to eliminate the demonic beasts, even if they succeeded, there would not be any more credit. If there were casualties among the Foundation establishment cultivators from the northern part of Qingli Prefecture, the credit for the great victory would be reduced. Yang Ziyuan was not a fool. Why would he agree to enter the 100 Spirit Mountain to exterminate the demonic beasts? After waiting for 2 days outside the 100 Spirit Mountain, all the cultivators from the northern part of Qingli Prefecture gathered. The scattered demonic beasts in other places were basically eliminated. Although there were heavy casualties among mortals and Qi refinement cultivators in this battle, very few Foundation establishment cultivators died in battle. Not a single family was exterminated. The influence of the demonic beast tide on the entire Netherworld sect was almost zero. Ignoring the efforts of the local families to urge them to stay, Yang Ziyuan led the 55 Foundation establishment cultivators and left the central part of Qingli Prefecture, returning to Qingli City Market. As for the peak Qi refinement cultivators sent by the Netherworld sect, they continued to stay on the Qin family's Spirit Mountain. When the Netherworld sect's warship returned, they would be picked up along the way. Everyone returned to Qingli City Market. Yang Yong went to 100 miles away from Qingli City Market to personally welcome them. The credit of leading the extermination of the demonic beast tide was firmly in his hands. Soon after, several leading Foundation establishment cultivators reported the contributions of each cultivator to their superiors. The cultivators also took out proof that they had killed the demonic beasts. Wang Daoyuan also took out more than 10 demonic beast corpses as proof. The other demonic beast corpses had already been dealt with by the spirit beasts in the space. Elder Yang also did not take away the demonic beast corpses. He only made a record. Yang Yong expressed that he would definitely ask for credit for all the meritorious officials. Afterwards, the Foundation establishment cultivators dispersed. Wang Daoyuan also left Qingli City Market and returned to Jade Spring Peak. More than 10 days later, Yang Yong sent news that the Netherworld sect had given the Wang family the credit of pacifying the demonic beast tide. Of course, this credit was not earned by Wang Daoyuan's participation in the battle. It was earned by reporting the news in advance. The southernmost Wanchuan City Market of Qingli County was also attacked by the demonic beast tide. Due to the Wang family's information, the Netherworld sect made preparations before the Myriad Spirit sect. The demonic beast tide had not yet fully formed when the flying warship sent by the Netherworld sect arrived. They cooperated with the cultivators left behind at Wanchuan City Market to attack the demonic beasts that were gathering along the north bank of Wanchuan River. These demonic beasts had not yet been organized and were completely scattered. How could they withstand the attacks of several Zifu disciples, dozens of Foundation establishment cultivators, and 3 flying warships of the Netherworld sect? They were all driven into Wanchuan River. Although these terrestrial demonic beasts did not like to enter the water, they were rank 2 demonic beasts and would not drown to death. Since they could not stay on the north bank, they crossed Wanchuan River and reached the south bank. Although many demonic beasts had been ambushed by the aquatic demonic beasts, there were still thousands of rank 2 demonic beasts and more than 10 rank 3 demonic beasts that reached the south bank. Across the river from Qingli County was Linchuan County, which was under the jurisdiction of the Myriad Spirit Sect. The Myriad Spirit Sect did not know what was going on when thousands of demonic beasts suddenly appeared on the river bank. The northern part of Linchuan County was a flat land with only a few dozen small hills. These were the spirit mountains of the various clans. The demonic beasts did not need to gather at all. They just started to move. The demonic beasts wreaked havoc in Linchuan County for 7 to 8 days before the cultivators sent by the Myriad Spirit Sect arrived at the scene. After nearly half a month, the Myriad Spirit Sect finally managed to pacify the demonic beast tide. Less than a tenth of the clans in the northern part of Linchuan County survived. More than half of the clans in the central part were lost. Almost half of the clans in Linchuan County were wiped out. Dozens of the Foundation establishment cultivators sent by the Myriad Spirit Sect died in the battle against the demonic beast tide. The losses were incalculable. Apart from not losing any high-level cultivators, the Myriad Spirit Sect had suffered even greater losses this time than when the Netherworld Sect was schemed against by the two sections. The Myriad Spirit Sect did not lose a single Foundation establishment cultivator. The subsidiary clans only lost more than 10 Foundation establishment cultivators. None of the clans were wiped out. In a demonic beast tide that affected the entire county, such losses were completely negligible. Thanks to the Wang clan's advance warning, the Netherworld Sect did not suffer any losses. They even took advantage of their neighbor's situation and caused great losses to the Myriad Spirit Sect. The upper echelons of the Netherworld Sect were all grinning from ear to ear. It was not strange that the Wang clan was given the greatest credit. Chapter 188. Half a month later, the rewards from the Netherworld Sect were finally announced. The rewards for killing demonic beasts were exactly what Yang Zhiqing promised at Crouching Tiger Mountain. For killing a demonic beast, the reward was 500 spirit stones for second-level low-grade, 1,000 spirit stones for second-level mid-grade, and 2,000 spirit stones for second-level high-grade. Wang Daoyuan took out 10 or so demonic beast corpses, plus the contribution of defending Crouching Tiger Mountain and participating in killing the Beast King. He was rewarded 10,000 spirit stones in total. Apart from that, the Wang family had notified the Netherworld Sect of the Beast Tide in advance, giving them enough time to prepare. They didn't suffer any harm, but took the opportunity to deal a heavy blow to the Myriad Spirit Sect. The Netherworld Sect rewarded the Wang family with 5 third-level low-grade talismans, 10 or so second-level magic weapons, and 50 or so second-level pills. Most importantly, the Netherworld Sect also rewarded the Wang family with a Foundation Establishment Pill. The Foundation Establishment Pill had always been a way for the sect to win over the affiliated families, but the Netherworld Sect didn't want the affiliated families to prosper. Therefore, they had always been stingy with the Foundation Establishment Pill. Even if the affiliated families made great contributions, they were only given the right to bid for the Foundation Establishment Pill at a discount. It was very rare to directly reward a Foundation Establishment Pill. This was probably the Netherworld Sect trying to win over the older families, using the Wang family as an example. As long as one made great contributions, the Netherworld Sect wouldn't be stingy with their rewards, no matter which faction they belonged to. If other families received a Foundation Establishment Pill, they would go crazy with joy. But now that the Wang clan had obtained this Foundation Establishment Pill, they really didn't know whether to be happy or worried. The value of a Foundation Establishment Pill was needless to say, but the Wang family wasn't in a hurry. The Netherworld Sect gave the Wang family the greatest contribution, which was to draw hatred for the Wang family. Not only did they attract hatred from the Myriad Spirit Sect, but they also attracted the jealousy of the families in Qingli County. Not long after the Netherworld Sect gave out the rewards, rumors started to spread in Qingli City that Wang Daoyuan received the inheritance of an ancient cultivator, and his first-level foundation establishment battle strength was comparable to a 4th or 5th level foundation establishment cultivator. Also, he received many foundation establishment pills. Otherwise, how could a 5-spirit root cultivator reach foundation establishment so easily? As the initiator of the rumors, the Liang family didn't feel good either. At that time, the news that Wang Daoyuan directly attacked the Liang family and said that Liang had a good friend who was an elder in Cruel Sun Palace also spread in Qingli City. Although there was no evidence, once the news spread, the Netherworld sect would definitely investigate. It was no secret that Liang had good friends when he was young. As long as he wanted to investigate, he could definitely find out. One of his good friends was an elder in the Cruel Sun Palace. This matter could not be concealed. Of course, the Underworld sect wouldn't directly do anything to the Liang family if they couldn't get any evidence of Liang colluding with the Cruel Sun Palace. However, the suspicion of the Liang family colluding with the Cruel Sun Palace couldn't be shaken off. No matter how the 3 factions fought, they were still fighting for power under the banner of the Netherworld sect. Once he was involved with the enemy, the 3 factions would no longer trust him. In the future, the Liang clan would not have an easy time in the Netherworld sect. In contrast to the Wang clan's mixed emotions and the Liang clan's misfortune, the Yang clan was flushed with success. After receiving the news from the Wang family, Yang Yong quickly verified it and obtained accurate information about the beast tide. He then reported it to the sect. Exterminating the beast horde in the central part of Qingli County also resulted in minimal losses. The upper echelons of the Netherworld sect rewarded Yang Yong with many Tier 3 medicinal pills and magic tools. Furthermore, the treatment of the Yang clan's disciples in the Netherworld sect was also improved. This was not the only good thing for the Yang clan. After the Netherworld sect's reward was given, another good thing followed. The first master of the Green Willow province, Shi Zhenbang, failed to establish the Violet Palace and passed away. Shi Zhenbang was a descendant of the River Sun City Shi clan. The ancestor of the River Sun City Shi clan was a Golden Core realm family that had been around for 10,000 years. In terms of heritage, not to mention the Wang clan, which had not lasted for many years, even the Netherworld sect couldn't compare to them. Although they were exterminated along with the Zhao clan 300 years ago, they lost their territory and wealth. But their cultivation techniques and spiritual techniques could be stored in an interspatial pouch, so it was easy to preserve them. 20 years ago, Shi Zhenbang snatched the foundation building pellet from Elder Zhou. After exchanging a few moves with Elder Zhou, he used his ultimate move to clash with Elder Zhou and escaped unscathed. His combat strength could be said to be invincible under the Violet Palace realm. Shi Zhenbang had snatched the foundation building pill and escaped unscathed from the hands of the Purple Mansion's elders. His reputation had spread far and wide. Over the past 20 years, the Green Willow province had been recruiting and their strength had grown rapidly. For many years, Elder Zhou didn't dare to leave the Clear Glass City. Yang Yong also didn't leave after taking over the Clear Glass City. He was afraid that Shi Zhenbang would cause trouble again. With Shi Zhenbang's strength, no one could stop him without an elder of the Violet Palace realm. However, such a figure had passed away after failing to establish the Violet Palace realm. The Shi clan still had 2 foundation establishment realm cultivators, but the highest cultivation was only in the 7th level. It wouldn't be a problem to protect the Shi clan's legacy, but it would be impossible for them to command the Green Willow province. With Shi Zhenbang's death, the Green Willow province would definitely have a power struggle and they wouldn't be able to cause any trouble in the short term. Furthermore, the foundation establishment realm cultivators of the Green Willow province didn't have Shi Zhenbang's combat strength. A few foundation establishment realm cultivators of the Netherworld sect could easily take them down. Yang Yong also didn't have to guard the Clear Glass City all day long. Jade Spring Peak. The first step of the Wang clan's reform had been completed. All the stewards of the 9 halls and 2 divisions had been selected and the division of authority had been sorted out. The clan leader and the elders gathered together to report on the operations of each hall and division. They found the shortcomings and improved them. After discussing the operations, 10th great-uncle Wang Jiha asked, "There have been some rumors about Daoyuan recently. How should we respond?" 10th great-uncle was in charge of the Hall of Commerce. The Hall of Commerce was temporarily in charge of gathering information. Any news from the outside world would also be reported by 10th great-uncle. Wang Daoyuan smiled. "Isn't it just the matter of me having the legacy of an ancient cultivator? There won't be many people interested in the legacy of a penta spirit root. The only thing we need to consider is the foundation establishment pill. Since there are people coveting the foundation establishment pill, we'll just use it on the surface. 8th uncle and 9th aunt are almost 70 years old. We'll just let them reach the foundation establishment realm. We can also let 3rd brother reach the foundation establishment realm. 2nd brother can wait until the Netherworld sect auctions the foundation establishment pill 4 years later." Currently, the Wang clan had 4 cultivators who were especially suited for the foundation establishment realm. Letting only 3 of them reach the foundation establishment realm was a sign that the foundation establishment pills had been used up. At the auction 4 years later, they could buy another foundation establishment pill at a high price and let 2nd brother reach the foundation establishment realm. Since the foundation establishment pills in the Wang clan's possession had been used up, the rumors became more credible. 10th great-uncle asked curiously, "There really are more?" Wang Daoyuan smiled. "Of course there are more. How else could I reach the foundation establishment realm? I've already used 2 of the foundation establishment pills I got from Master's Cave, so there are still 2 left. This time, the Netherworld sect rewarded me with another one. The news has already been leaked, so there's no need to keep it a secret. We might as well use them all to avoid being targeted." Hearing this, everyone present was pleasantly surprised. The Wang clan would have 3 more foundation establishment realm cultivators. With 7 foundation establishment realm cultivators in each clan, it would be comparable to a Zifu clan. The Yang clan only had 6 foundation establishment realm cultivators. The Liang clan originally had 6 foundation establishment realm cultivators, but one of them died in the battle against the Red Beard bandits. Now, they only had 5 foundation establishment realm cultivators. The framework of a Zifu clan had already been set up. They only lacked 1 more Zifu disciple. Chapter 189. After solving the problem of the foundation establishment pill, Wang Daoyuan asked, "The clan can sell ores, spirit wood, and spirit beast meat at a high price when doing business with the River Yang County. The clan's mines and forest farms also don't need to suppress their production. Have you estimated how much it will increase?" 3rd brother Wang Daochang replied, "If we don't suppress our production, the clan's northern industries can increase their production by at least 2 times. Due to the convenience of water transportation, the industries along the Qingli River and the Qingli River didn't have much of a suppression in the past. In general, their production can increase by at least 2 times. 10th great-uncle Wang Jiha continued, "The other shops in the Qingli market didn't change much. Only the Drunken Immortal restaurant doubled their income this month. In Heian County, they could consume as many ores and spiritual woods as they wanted. The output of the family's mines and forests had more than doubled. If we don't consider the transportation bottleneck, selling ores and spirit wood and buying spirit beast meat will increase the business of the Drunken Immortal restaurant. The annual profit of this trade route should be close to 40,000 spirit stones. However, considering that there will be more and more clans doing business in the River Yang County, the price of ores and spirit wood will definitely decrease slowly. The price of ores and spirit wood in the Qingli market will also increase a bit. After the market stabilizes, the annual net income of this trade route should increase by 20 to 30,000 spirit stones." Wang Daoyuan pondered for a while and said, "Since the clan can increase its income by 20,000 spirit stones, the finances will be more comfortable. The clan's monthly stipend and contribution point reform that I mentioned before can also be implemented. In the future, the clan will assign missions to the clansmen according to their danger and difficulty. Different levels of missions will give different contribution points and monthly stipends. In addition, clansmen who make special contributions will be given extra contribution points. For example, if the clansmen who were guarding the family's property encountered a demonic beast invasion and repelled the demonic beasts, they should be rewarded with extra contribution points in addition to the monthly stipend. Clansmen who have potential in cultivation and the 100 arts of cultivation should be given extra subsidies to make full use of their potential. For example, second brother's cultivation talent is very good, but he doesn't have any special skills and can't earn many spirit stones. The clan used to subsidize these clansmen, but it didn't form a system. In the future, when the clan grew stronger, it was inevitable that some of the clansmen would be dissatisfied if they still used this method of private subsidies. Clansmen who were important to the clan would also be given a certain amount of subsidies. For example, those who taught underage clansmen the various arts of cultivation, as well as foundation establishment cultivators, would also be given a special allowance. In addition to these, there was also a need to establish a loan system. For example, they could exchange for foundation establishment pills. If they had great potential but didn't have enough contribution points, they could borrow contribution points and slowly repay them after they reached foundation establishment. This loan qualification must be strictly controlled. Only those who were talented in cultivation, talented in the various arts of cultivation, or had made great contributions to the clan were qualified to borrow money. I only have so many suggestions. The specific implementation rules and standards will be discussed by the patriarch and the elders. Next, he had to arrange for 8th uncle, 9th aunt, and 3rd brother to build their foundations as soon as possible. Only when there are more foundation establishment cultivators in the clan will I be able to leave the clan without worry. The beast horde this time gave him a reminder. The Wang family was located near the junction of the Heavenly/Mountain Range and Huiyan Mountain. No matter which side a beast tide occurred, the Wang family would be swept into it. In the past, the Wang clan had the myriad water origin formation, which even rank 4 demonic beasts would find difficult to break. At that time, there weren't many clansmen, so the Jade Spring Peak could completely accommodate them. Now, without the myriad water origin formation, they would be powerless to stop a large-scale beast tide. There were more than 100,000 mortals in the clan, and the Jade Spring Peak couldn't accommodate them all. To restore the myriad water origin formation, they first needed a rank 4 spirit vein. To restore the Jade Spring Peak spirit vein, they also needed extremely high attainments in formations. Even with the 5 elements spiritual master's legacy in formations and the basic knowledge from Qi Yun's clone, it would take at least 100 years to become a rank 4 formation master. It was hard to say when the next beast tide would come. To protect the clan, they had to rely on the 5 elements mystic realm. It was urgent to open up a passage between the clan's territory and the 5 elements mystic realm. After 8th uncle and the other 2 reached foundation establishment, Wang Daoyuan would go to the east side of the clan's territory to find a suitable spiritual mountain as a transit point to the 5 elements mystic realm. The elders recorded down Wang Daoyuan's suggestions for reform. 10th great uncle asked, "What are you going to do now?" Wang Daoyuan answered, "Only the foundation establishment cultivators and first elder know the details of opening up a path of retreat for the clan, so it's not convenient to talk about it. This beast tide made me aware of the potential risks of the clan. If another beast tide happens and our Wang clan is involved, how many properties and clansmen can we protect? To be on the safe side, we need to make preparations as soon as possible and move our clansmen to a safe place. After 8th uncle and the others reach foundation establishment, I'll be in charge of the path of retreat." 12th uncle Wang Shi said, "We really need to make preparations. 8th brother, 9th sister, and Dao Chang, the 3 of you should make preparations and reach foundation establishment as soon as possible." The 3 of them agreed. A month later, the 3 of them were almost ready and could reach foundation establishment at any time. The clan had never seen 3 people reach foundation establishment consecutively. Even 5th great uncle Wang Jian came out of seclusion to protect the 3 of them. In addition, the clan's defensive formation was also activated. Jade Spring Peak's current defensive formation was called the Black Tortoise Water Defense Formation, a rank 3 intermediate formation. This formation was also left behind by the ancestor. Before obtaining the Myriad Water Origin Formation, Jade Spring Peak's defensive formation was the Black Tortoise Water Defense Formation. This formation could barely be considered as both offensive and defensive, but its offensive power was relatively weak while its defensive power was extremely strong. Its offensive means mainly relied on condensing the Black Tortoise's image and controlling water to attack the enemy. Water attribute's spiritual energy wasn't good at attacking. Therefore, the Black Tortoise Water Defense Formation's offensive power was better than nothing. Needless to say, once the formation was activated, coupled with a rank 3 upper spirit vein, even a peak Zifu realm cultivator wouldn't be able to break it in a short time. Among the three of them, only ninth sister Wang Shoujing majored in the water attribute and was most suitable for foundation establishment by the Jade Dragon Spring. Thus, she was the first to reach foundation establishment. Ninth sister directly reached foundation establishment in the auditorium on the north side of the Jade Dragon Spring. The water spiritual energy here was extremely rich and was enough for the Zifu realm to break through to the Golden Core realm. Breaking through to foundation establishment wasn't difficult at all. She had been at the peak of chi refinement for more than 20 years and her foundation was quite stable. 2 hours after taking the foundation establishment pill, a water blue spiritual energy vortex with a diameter of 70 feet appeared in the air above the auditorium. An hour later, the spiritual energy vortex gradually shrank and finally disappeared. Ninth sister had successfully reached foundation establishment and the next step was to consolidate her cultivation. Eighth uncle Wang Shoujiang and third brother Wang Daochang were both fire attribute cultivators. It was basically impossible for them to break through by the Jade Dragon Spring. Grand-grandfather took out a few crimson jade formation discs from the ancestral shrine and led everyone to the north side of the mountain peak. There was a piece of flat land halfway up the mountain and a few mu of spiritual fields had been opened up. It was a distance away from the Jade Dragon Spring and there was a lot of non-elemental spiritual energy. Coupled with the fire attribute spirit gathering formation, it was easy to support a chi refinement cultivator's foundation establishment. Great-grandfather and fifth great-uncle set up a few spirit gathering formation discs. On each formation disc, there were a few mid-grade spirit stones. Eighth uncle had been at the peak of chi refinement for more than 20 years and his foundation was very solid. After taking the foundation establishment pill, he successfully reached foundation establishment 4 hours later. Wang Daochang still wanted to reach foundation establishment here, so he left and returned to his cave residence to consolidate his cultivation. Third brother Wang Daochang had reached the peak of chi refinement in his early 30s and was now close to 50 years old. After nearly 20 years of consolidation, his foundation was naturally very solid. He had an 8-inch fire spiritual root. After taking the foundation establishment pill, the possibility of him failing to reach foundation establishment was almost non-existent. 2 hours after taking the foundation establishment pill, a fiery red spiritual energy vortex with a diameter of about 30 feet appeared above his head. Obviously, his talent was much stronger than eighth uncle and ninth sister. An hour later, the spiritual energy vortex gradually shrank and finally disappeared. The three people had all succeeded in reaching foundation establishment. It was the first time such a grand occasion had occurred since the ancestor died in battle. Chapter 190. After eighth uncle and the other two succeeded in building their foundation and stabilizing their cultivation, the 12th uncle Wang Shui closed the family's mountain protecting formation and arranged for the three of them to brazenly practice the sword controlling technique. When the three of them built their foundation, the mountain protecting formation was activated. Other than ensuring safety, it also attracted attention. After the mountain protecting formation was closed, Wang Daoyuan released Jin Yi and Yun Yi to observe the surrounding situation and found that there were indeed many rogue cultivators spying on them. Only when eighth uncle and the other two learned how to fly on their swords did these rogue cultivators disperse. In just 2 or 3 days, the the news of the Wang family's three building their foundation spread throughout the northern part of Qingli County. Regarding this matter, everyone's attitude was different. Some were envious, some were jealous, and some were hateful. Most people's attitude was that the Wang family was really decisive and was willing to use 3 foundation establishment pills at once. Other foundation establishment clans might have many foundation establishment pills, but they might not be willing to use them all at once. Most of them were stored first to ensure that the foundation establishment cultivators of the family would not be cut off. Many clans sighed. A third overlord clan was about to appear in the northern part of Qingli County. For the Wang family, other than the increase in foundation establishment cultivators, no one cared about the Wang family's foundation establishment pills. The 3 of them built their foundation on the same day, so the possibility of the remaining foundation establishment pills was not high. Moreover, the 7 foundation establishment cultivators of the Wang family, if all of them grew up, they would also be a terrifying force. Although the outside world did not know how high Wang Shui's talent was, everyone knew that he was the hope of the Wang family's rise. The Liang family's decline was obvious, and they were unable to stop the Wang family's rise. The Yang family had been an ally of the Wang family for hundreds of years, and there were no cracks in their relationship. If there were no major exceptions, the Wang family's rise was set. In less than 100 years, the Wang family might become a Zifu family. No one was willing to offend a future Zifu family for a foundation establishment pill that might not exist. The rumors about the foundation establishment pill passed just like that. The outside world did not pay much attention to Wang Daoyuan's 5 elements cultivation technique inheritance. People who cultivated the 5 elements cultivation technique were originally strong in battle. Wang Daoyuan was at most a little too strong. But after all, he inherited the ancient cultivation technique, so it was reasonable for him to be strong. None of the clans had any foundation establishment cultivators with 5 spiritual roots, so there was no point in snatching the inheritance. The Wang family's show was over, but the Liang family's show was still ongoing. The Liang clan had been too arrogant for the past 300 years. They had wantonly bullied and humiliated the surrounding clans. The other clans were angry, but they didn't dare to say anything. Now that they saw the Liang family being unlucky, the families that were being bullied were naturally happy. The Liang family's usual actions, such as suppressing the Wang family. Who hated the Wang clan the most? Without a doubt, it was the cruel Sun Palace. The Wang family's patriarch had no enmity with the Liang family, so why was the Liang family so active in suppressing the Wang family? Now that news of the Liang family possibly colluding with the cruel Sun Palace and bullying the Wang family and the surrounding families had spread out, it was a huge matter. This action was obviously to avenge the cruel Sun Palace and disturb the rear of the Netherworld sect. Very quickly, rumors about the Liang family's patriarch's good friend appeared on the market. The rumors listed all of Liang Liang's good friends from when he was young. Those who joined the cruel Sun Palace, those who died at the hands of the Wang clan ancestor, and those who became elders of the cruel Sun Palace were all clearly stated. Most importantly, these things were all proven to be true. As for the source of this rumor, it was obvious that it was from the Yang family. There were quite a few people who knew about this, and all of the veteran Zifu disciples knew a bit. However, this matter was the first to spread throughout Clear Glass City. The only Zifu clans in Clear Glass City were the Yang clan and the Liang clan. It was impossible for the Liang clan to spread rumors about their own clan, so it could only be done by the Yang clan. Now, the Liang clan no longer dared to be arrogant. Their foundation establishment cultivators would stay in the Clear Sky Peak to cultivate when they had nothing to do. They simply did not dare to show their faces. Other than doing business, the clan's disciples would never take a step out of their own territory, for fear of being caught by others and making a big deal out of it. The Liang clan was a coward, and the Wang clan had 3 more foundation establishment cultivators. Their safety was guaranteed. Wang Daoyuan quietly left the Jade Spring Mountain and headed to the eastern border of the family. He took down a spirit mountain and used it as the first transit point for the family to enter the Five Elements secret realm. This time, the Netherworld sect had rewarded him with a level 2 spirit armor, the dragon armor, and 5 level 3 spirit talismans. The Wang family did not have a rank 3 talisman master inheritance, and no one would sell a rank 3 inheritance on the market. Therefore, if he wanted to become a rank 3 talisman master, he could only rely on himself. As for the way to do so, he could only study these level 3 spirit talismans. The dragon armor was made from the skin of a level 2 spirit beast, the armored crocodile. Second brother Wang Daoxing and younger brother Wang Daoyin accompanied him. Although Wang Daoxing had become an elder of the family, he did not have the ability to take charge. Thus, he became a steward of the Hall of Guardians. Wang Daoyin was already in his 30s and had just reached the 7th level of qi refinement. Among the 100 arts of cultivation, he had chosen weapon refinement. The Wang clan's weapon refinement inheritance was only level 1. It was not a problem for him to build a foundation, but he could forget about the rest. However, the family was now very wealthy, and it was time to nurture a weapon refinement master. After all, there were so many mines and spirit wood. Without a weapon refinement master, they could only sell raw materials. It was too much of a loss. Coincidentally, Wang Daoyin did not have much talent in alchemy, talisman crafting, or spirit plants. Only his talent in weapon refinement was good, so the family arranged for him to learn weapon refinement. The Wang clan did not have a weapon refinement master, so no one taught him the basics. He could only learn by himself. After reaching adulthood, he was sent to guard the Mirror Iron Mountain. Coincidentally, there was hematite there, and there were enough raw materials for him to practice refining and forging materials. After Wang Daoyuan received the 5 Elements spiritual master's inheritance, he sorted out the weapon refinement knowledge and passed it to him. Relying on his good talent and more than 20 years of hard work, he was now a level 1 weapon refinement master. This level could only be considered average among his peers. However, considering that he had relied on himself to learn, it was not easy to achieve this. This time, he brought the 2 of them with him to give them a chance to gain experience and accumulate some contribution points. Wang Daoyuan's target was a highland called Linji Mountain. The terrain of this mountain was a bit like a cow's hoof. There were 2 higher terrains on the north and south sides, and a depression in the middle. According to him, it would be better to call it Cow Hoof Mountain. It sounded more intimate. He did not know which senior had given it the name Linji Mountain. Linji Mountain was located 1,600 to 1,700 li east of Jade Spring Peak, less than 100 li away from the outer border of the sky/mountain range. The 2 highlands on the north and south sides of Linji Mountain were about the same in shape and area. They were roughly oval in shape, with a maximum length of more than 10 li from east to west and a maximum width of 5 to 6 li from north to south. The height was about 300 zhang, and the top was relatively flat. Furthermore, the vegetation was lush and there were few rocks. It was extremely suitable for opening up spirit fields. The depression in the middle was only 100 zhang wide, and a drawbridge could be built to connect the north and south. The 2 highlands each had a level 2 would attribute spirit vein. If there were no demon beasts attacking such a good place, it could be used as the foundation of a foundation establishment clan. The level 2 demon beasts on the 2 level 2 spirit veins were at most level 2 intermediate. With Wang Daoyuan's strength and spirit beasts, it would not take much effort to take down such demon beasts. However, he had to make as little noise as possible. If there was a huge commotion or the stalemate lasted for too long, it would alarm the surrounding demon beasts and they would be in big trouble. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.